And now, before we get into the lineups for today's game, let's go over to the former captain of the New York Jets, Sam DeLuca.
Merle, do you think that I'm accident-prone? Did you see that? All right, listen, you know, the Saints just may be the worst team that the Jets have met all year. The Houston Oilers were the only team that came close to matching them in ineptness, and I think the difference between the Oilers and the Saints is that the Oilers didn't know how bad they were when the Jets played them. They were still playing with enthusiasm. I think despite their upset of the Rams last week, the Saints beat the Rams 19-16. They are a team that just can't wait for the season to end. For them, the season is over, and it seems as if they're just going through the motions. They're playing unemotional type football. Last week, they beat the Rams because Archie Manning had a good day. The team has no running to speak of. The pass protection has been less than adequate, and the defense is the weakest part of the team. So in short, the Saints are totally reliant on Archie Manning, and I have an inclination to say that the Jets are going to win big, Merle, but I remember that game down in Houston, and I'm going to limit myself and just say the Jets should win.
All right, the next time I see you carrying a cup of anything, I'm going to move out of the way, but there's one thing about it. I hope they never give you the keys to the locks of the St. Lawrence Seaway.
I'm not really I'm well adjusted. I don't spill things.
Okay, Sam. Well, the captains are now being called out to the middle of the field, and we will give you the lineups when we come back for the kickoff of today's game in just 1 minute.
And now a word from the Falstaff Brewing Corporation, St. Louis, Missouri. You know, you can always tell when a quarterback's really on his game. Seems like nothing he does can go wrong. Every play, every pass he throws is always right on target. Altogether, kind of a Valentine performance, you might say. Because when it comes to being right on target, there's not much to compare with the great crisp taste of today's Valentine beer. That's because Valentine's really brewed to please these days. So you're always sure to get the same great beer refreshment, glass after glass, every single drop, which means a stellar performance every time. So the next time you're in the market for a beer that just can't miss, don't forget the one that boasts the famous 3-ring sign on the label. That's today's great Valentine beer, the best tasting Valentine ever. So remember, the next time you visit your favorite tavern, order up a nice cold Valentine. The Jets have won the toss. Let's check the New Orleans defense. At the ends, Richard Neal and Joe Owens. Neal out of Southern University, a 254-pounder. Owens from Alcorn A&M at 245. The tackles will be Bob Pollard at 255 and Doug Moores at 255. The linebackers, Tom Roussel on the left side, 235 pounds. Joe Federspiel, a rookie from Kentucky, at 225. And the right side linebacker is Wayne Coleman out of Temple at 220. The cornerbacks, Ernie Johnson and Vivian Lee. And Doug Wyatt and Hugo Holas will be the deep backs. And Happy Fella, the former Texas star, is getting ready to kick off for New Orleans. And going back deep for the New York Jets will be Hank Bajorquin and Chris Farasopoulos, and the kick goes to Farasopoulos on the 1. He's out to the 10, to the 15, goes to the 20, up the sideline to the 25, and knocked out of bounds somewhere around the 28-yard line. Bob Gresham, who will be one of the running backs for New Orleans, made the tackle.
And so the Jets take over the offense. Eddie Bell and Don Maynard, the wide receivers. Rich Castor, the tight end. Bob Sweas and Winnie Hill, the tackles. Randy Rasmussen and Dave Herman, the guards. John Schmidt at center. The running backs will be Cliff McLean and John Riggins. And here we go with Joe Namath at quarterback. Bell wide to the left. Going out wide to the right is Don Maynard. First play from the 28, a handoff to Riggins. Hits the right side out across the 30. Plunges almost to the 33-yard line before he is stopped by Doug Moores, the second-year man out of Whittier. He's the right tackle for New Orleans, and Doug Wyatt, the strong safety, a 3-year veteran from Tulsa. The ball spotted on the 33-yard line where it becomes 2nd down and 5.
Well, much has been said and written during the week about the Jets' conservative offense, the fact that Namath hasn't been throwing the bomb, and of course they ran the very first play here. I expect another run because it would be foolish not to run against this weak Saints defense.
And it's Riggins again on the run. He's going to get 5 more out to the 38, almost the 39 off his own right tackle. Tom Roussel, the left side linebacker, on the stop. Riggins now has 10-plus yards. He needed 25 to break Matt Snell's rushing record set back in 1964. That's a Jet rushing record when Snell rolled up 948 yards. And, of course, Riggins could go over the 1,000 mark today. Dave Long is coming at right end out of Iowa. He has replaced Joe Owens for New Orleans. The Jets, with a first down of their own 39-yard line after a 6-yard gain by Riggins, send Bell to the left and Don Maynard wide to the right, and the Jets are in the eye. And the handoff is going to Cliff McLean. No hole. Tries to find a little daylight. Gets across the 40. Is knocked down on the 41 by Wayne Coleman, the defensive right linebacker. So the gain on the play is 2. It'll be 2nd down and 8. And you will recall, of course, on Thanksgiving Day in Detroit, Cliff McLean ran for 121 yards.
Well, you talked about the increased running in the National Football League. You know, in the history of pro football, which is over 40 years now, there have been a total of 48 players who have achieved more than 1,000 yards in 1 year. This year, 11 or 12 have a good shot at it.
2nd down 8. Joe Namath calls it. The Jets go set with the wide receivers out, and Namath is back for the first time to throw, and he does, for Don Maynard. And Maynard makes the reception in New Orleans territory on the 43 and goes out of bounds. Ernie Jackson, the quarterback, covering, a rookie out of Duke. Got him out of bounds, but not until after a 16-yard pickup as Namath, in the air for the first time today, completes one to the old pro, Don Maynard. Namath, going into the game this afternoon, had thrown for 2,154 yards, 18 touchdowns. That's high in the National Football League. He's now completed 117 of 239. 1st and 10 on the New Orleans. 43. Wide to the left is Bell. Wide to the right goes Don Maynard again. Namath on the snap, gives off to McLean. He bangs into the right side on a slant, gets to the 41. Not too much. Richard Neal, the left end of the Saints, makes the stop. A gain of about 2. It'll be 2nd down and 8. That front 4 again for New Orleans. Richard Neal, Bob Pollard, Doug Moores, and Dave Long. The linebackers are Tom Roussel, Joe Fetterspiel, and Wayne Coleman. The cornerbacks are Ernie Jackson and Vivian Lee, and the deep backs are Doug Wyatt and Hugo Holas. Wide to the left goes Bell on 2nd down. Out to the right side, Don Maynard. The running backs are split. Back to pass Namath for the 2nd time. In the pocket, throwing for Maynard, and he can't quite get to the ball. He stumbled on about the 10-yard line. Jackson was back there. Looked like Maynard was trying to regain his stride, Sam, and just couldn't get his balance once again.
Yeah, he may have stumbled, but he certainly had a couple of steps on Jackson. And if he hadn't have stumbled, or if the pass were thrown better, it would have been a touchdown for the Jets.
Joe Owens is back in at right end, and Dave Long comes out for New Orleans. The Saints have won 2 and lost 8. The Jets are 6 and 5. The Saints also have a tie on their record. Wide to the left goes Bell. To the right side, Maynard. The running backs are McLean and Riggins, and they're split wide. Over the ball, John Schmidt. The New Orleans defense digs in on 3rd down and 8, and Namath is back to throw, and a rush is on. He throws back over the middle, and it's caught by Riggins coming out of the backfield, down across the 30, across the 25, and dumped on the 24 by Hugo Holas and Joe Fetterspiel. And it's a first down for New York at the 24-yard line of the Saints on a 17-yard pickup to John Riggins right up the middle.
Well, the Jets can get on the scoreboard right now and get another one soon. I think that the Saints are a type of club that will just fall apart completely. They've had internal problems. J.D. Roberts seems to be on his way out, and the team is unsatisfied or dissatisfied with him. The Jets get on quickly. They could run up a big score today.
Bell goes left, Maynard goes right. Namath fakes the draw, drops back to throw, gets a good block, throws for Bell in the corner, and it's incomplete, and Namath did get dumped. Vivian Lee was covering on the play. Wayne Coleman, coming on the blitz from the right side, was picked up by McLean. But somehow he got by McLean, got over the top of him to knock Namath off his feet. It'll be 2nd down and 10 on the 24 of New Orleans.
Well, Namath has thrown the football a little more today than he had been the last 2 weeks against the Detroit Lions and, of course, the Miami Dolphins. Both games the Jets were in. See, the Jets had been running the ball well. They stayed in the ball game, but the defense just wasn't up to stopping the Dolphins or the Lions.
Going wide to the right, Maynard. Out to the left side, Eddie Bell again. 2nd down call coming up from the 24. Namath the handoff to Riggins. Riggins hits the right side, has to get it on his own, and what he gets is maybe a yard. Doug Morris and Hugo Holas. Holas is the free safety, third-year man from Rice. He's up there on the stop. Riggins comes up limping just slightly. He's at a Charlie horse. 3rd down and 8, and once again, they switch it right in with Long coming in and Owens. Nope, it's going to be Moores this time who checks out. Owens moves over to play tackle. Long will play the defensive right end. Out of the huddle come the Jets. Maynard to the right side. Eddie Bell wide to the left. Running backs are McLean and Riggins. They're in close. No score in the first quarter here at the Big Shea. Here is Namath faking and throwing out to Bell. Bell in trouble, is hit for no gain. In fact, he lost a couple of yards. Eddie Bell with a one-man screen out there, but Long and Coleman read it. And the Jets lost 2, and it's 4th down and 10, and on comes Bobby Hopfield.
Yeah, I haven't seen the Jets use that particular play, Merle. They, of course, throw the flat pass to the wide receiver, but usually the wide receiver, in this case Eddie Bell, will go down the field 3 or 4 yards and then break to the sideline. He didn't move at all on that last play. Namath just took the football, threw it to him, and they had Bob Sweas coming out to hit the cornerback, but it just didn't work. Couldn't get there in time.
30-yard attempt by Hopfield. The hold by Bob Davis. The kick is on the way, and it is good. Bobby Hopfield pumps a 30-yard field goal through the uprights, and that's his 18th out of 25 tries this year, and New Orleans has an injury, but the Jets have grabbed the lead. So there's a timeout on the field and the score. The New York Jets 3, and the New Orleans Saints nothing.
All my men wear English leather, every one of them. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice?
Did English leather help bring you together? You still remember smelling that clean, refreshing, honest scent of English leather aftershave. Now lots of memories are scented with English leather aftershave and cologne. And isn't that nice?
English leather, isn't that nice?
This is David Jansen. Did you know that all the powdered poison known as heroin and cocaine used in the United States comes from abroad? Did you know that it's smuggled in by well-organized syndicates who could care less about its terrible effects on our youth? The U.S. Customs Service is striving to stop narcotics and dangerous drugs from crossing our borders. Why don't you get involved in a community anti-drug abuse program? Stop the drug traffic. Your country will thank you for it.
Bobby Hopfield is ready to kick off for New York. Margene Adkins is back deep for New Orleans. Here's Hoffield's kick, and he pumps it deep downfield to Adkins, a yard deep in the end zone. He's coming out to the 5, to the 10, gets a block at the 14, is at the 15, and dropped on the 18. John Ebersol slowed him up, and the clincher was put on by Gus Holloman along with Wayne Stewart. So for the first time, we'll see Archie Manning in Shea Stadium, as a former Mississippi All-American comes out of the field leading the Saints. The wide receivers will be Bob Newland and Danny Abramowitz, and Abramowitz must be watched today. The tight end is Dave Parks. The running backs are Bob Gresham and Jim Strong. Up close is Strong, Gresham right behind him. Manning calls his first play from the 17-yard line, Maggot. Manning, a handoff to the second man, and that's Gresham. Gresham comes into the middle across the 20, gets about 5. He's out to around the 23, where he is stopped by Ralph Baker and Al Atkinson. In fact, he got 6 on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 4 as the ball is spotted near the 24 of New Orleans. The interior line for the Saints Glenn Ray Hines, the old Houston Oiler, at right tackle. Don Morrison at left tackle. Johnson Carl at left guard. Del Williams at right guard. And John Didion is the center up over the ball. The tight end, Dave Parks, in his 9th year out of Texas Tech, and he is a good one. To the right, Abramowitz. To the left is Newland. Manning on his second call, and this time he hands off to Gresham. Gresham across the 25 is dropped to the 26 again by Ralph Baker, and again with help from Al Atkinson. Now the Saints have a 3rd down and about 1. The Jet defensive unit up front, Jerry Philbin, John Little, Mark Loomis is playing right tackle today, and Joey Jackson has the right end assignment. Ralph Baker, Atkinson, and Mike Taylor are the linebackers. And the cornerbacks are Rich Sowles and Early Thomas. The deep backs are W.K. Hicks and Gus Holloman. Holloman is playing up at the line of scrimmage now. 3rd down call for Manning. 3rd down and 1 for the Saints. The running backs are split. Here's a handoff this time. It is going to Strong, the fullback. He slips as he tried to make a cut. He will be close to a 1st down, but I don't think he made it. And they might want the sticks on this one, but from here, it looks like John Little was able to stop him. So they line the ball up. The official looks to the sideline, says, nope, it's 4th down. 4th down and almost 1, and the punting unit comes on. Julian Fagan, who led the NFC in punting a couple of years ago and is averaging a little more than 40 yards per kick this year, has come on to do the kicking.
Merle, the Saints have a problem running the football. Manning leads the club in rushing with 316 yards. He's been averaging 6 yards per carry. He's also responsible for 16 of the Saints' 18 touchdowns, 14 passing and 2 running. I doubt if they would have had the 1st down, even if the ball carrier hadn't slipped on that last play.
Fearless Fagan is back to kick now for New Orleans. Here's the snap, and Fagan gets it away and puts it up high in the air. Barasopoulos calling for the fair catch and fields the ball on the 30-yard line of the Jets, and that's where New York will put it in play. A 44-yard kick by Fagan, and the Saints had great coverage on that punt, but Fagan did hang it up very high. So the Jets have the ball for the 2nd time on the offense this afternoon. There's a timeout on the field with the Jets leading 3-0. Let's take a 60-second Jet break for this announcement.
Troy Savings Bank isn't the only bank paying the new higher yields on your savings, but it was first in the Capital District to offer the highest yield permissible through continuous compounding. In almost 150 years of service, Troy Savings has had many firsts to its credit and pledges to continue to lead the way in the best interest of its loyal depositors. Troy Savings Bank makes it easier to save and earn the highest interest rates permitted by law. Easier to secure a mortgage, easier to get a home improvement loan, easier to get a student loan, easier to buy Savings Bank life insurance, easier to get a passbook loan without disturbing your savings, easier to transact business with all tellers on duty at peak hours, extra banking and Saturday hours, drive-in and walk-up tellers, and free parking. Open your account now with Troy Savings Bank, downtown Troy, East Greenbush, Whitehall, or Clifton Park. We make everything easier. Member FDIC.
Joe Namath puts the ball in play from the 30 with a pitch back to John Riggins. He gets out to about the 32 where Bob Pollard, the left tackle for the Saints, makes the stop. Let's see. Did he get 1 or 2 yards? We'll wait for the officials to spot the ball, and it is put down at the 32, so it's a 1-yard gain. And it's 2nd and 9, and John Riggins inches closer to Matt Snell's Jet rushing record. By the way, speaking of Emerson Boozer, he will be our halftime guest today. Here's Namath back to pass on 2nd and 9. Namath throwing for Maynard, and it is broken up on the midfield stripe by Ernie Jackson. Just as the ball arrived to Maynard, Jackson put a shoulder into him and jarred the ball loose to make it incomplete, but there's a flag dropped on the play, and we have a holding penalty indicated against New York.
And Merle, those passes over the middle, as that one was, a post pattern or cross, whatever you want to call it, are the ones that the wide receivers really don't like to run, because when you go into the middle, you're running into traffic. And on that last play, just as the ball was approaching Don Maynard, the linebacker, Fettisfield, came over and he unloaded on Maynard, knocked him over, and he toppled backwards. And, of course, Jackson made a good play in deflecting the football.
The 15-yard penalty against the Jets takes the ball back to the 17-yard line. Winnie Hill was hit with the penalty. Let's see, I believe from where that penalty took place, it would be half the distance where the holding was detected. All right, wide to the left, Bell, wide to the right is Don Maynard, and a handoff goes to Riggins, who bulls his way out to the 22, the play starting from the 17. And Tom Roussel, the left side linebacker, makes the stop for the New Orleans Saints. Coming back into the ball game once again is Doug Moores. Coach J.D. Roberts, the former Oklahoma All-American who learned his football under Bud Wilkinson, keeps rotating that defense on the right side with Moores, Owens, and Long. He changes on almost every play. Wide to the left goes Bell on a third down call at about 21. And to the right side, Maynard, the running backs are split wide. The handoff to Riggins, McLean, no hold, tries to get to the right side, does get out across the 30, goes to the 32 where it's fourth down, and Hugo Holaus makes the tackle. So the Jets now have fourth down. And Sam, do I detect that was not a popular call?
I guess not. Again, I would assume that the fans are booing the Jets because they thought that they should have put the ball in the air on that third down play. Cliff McLean, incidentally, Merle, made a good attempt at getting that first down. Some fine running. There was nothing up the middle, and he just broke to the outside, but really had to move 5 yards laterally to get outside.
Steve O'Neill punting for New York, puts a beauty up to Tom Myers, goes back, catches the ball over his shoulder inside the New Orleans 15, breaks out of the tackle, gets out to the 21. The Jets almost had him back inside the 15, but he managed to get loose for yardage, and John Mooring and Hank Majorquin finally pull him down. So Archie Manning and company have the ball for the second time today, and they'll start from the New Orleans 21. 5 minutes and 13 seconds left to play in the first quarter. Merle, Harmon, and Sam DeLuca reporting for you from the Big Shea in New York, tropical New York, we might say. And that's the way it is today. Abramowitz goes wide to the left, and in the slot left is Newland. First and 10 on the New Orleans 21. Jets leading 3-0. Here's a handoff to Strong, who finds a hole in the middle and gets out to the 28. Jim Strong is a third-year man from Houston at 6'1", 215 pounds. A gain of 6, and it'll be second down 4 coming. And as Sam has mentioned, the leading ground gainer for New Orleans this year is the quarterback, Archie Manning. At the 28, second down, about 4 for New Orleans. To the right, Abramowitz. To the left, Newland. Abramowitz has been one of the top receivers in the NFC now for several years. Archie Manning rolling right is going to keep the ball at the 30, is brought down to the 31, tries to inch forward for the first down. Gus Holloman had him around the ankles, was helped out by Ralph Baker. Looks like he might have the first down, and he does, as the sticks are moved ahead, as Archie Manning, after being stopped, lunged forward and inched the ball out near the 32-yard line, and the Saints have a first down.
Merle, that was the option play that Greg Landry ran so often against the Jets on Thanksgiving Day. He wasn't scrambling. He was running out of design. He could have had the option of pitching back to his back or keeping it himself, and he kept it himself.
Now Manning dropping back, faking, looking, throwing, and hitting his tight end, Dave Parks, at the 40s, up to the 45, near midfield. Gets onto the 49-yard line of New York and is dumped by W.K. Hicks and Al Atkinson. 19-yard pickup on the play. At the 49-yard line of New York, the Saints are in Jet territory for the first time this afternoon. And Dave Parks is the young man who cost the Saints dearly when he played out his option at San Francisco and joined the Saints. And he cost them their #1 draft choice, plus somebody else, I believe, Sam.
Yeah, he's one of the few recognizable names on the roster. Aside from Manning, Abramowitz, and perhaps offensive tackle Glenn Ray Hines, the Jets know very little about this Saints team.
Al Atkinson has gone to the sideline for treatment. John Ebersol is in at middle linebacker for New York as Manning goes back to throw on first down, throwing to the near side. And he hits Gresham coming out of the backfield. He's down to the 45, still gets up and goes again and bangs down to the 35-yard line. The Jets are claiming they had him down back at about the 46, but apparently not, because he got up and started running again. And he gets a first down just outside the Jet. Well, back now they put the ball on the Jet 35. So the gain is 14 yards and a first down for New Orleans at the Jet 35.
Well, last week the Saints beat the Los Angeles Rams 19-16 on Happy Feller's 33-yard field goal with 6 seconds left on the clock. And if you remember, at the end of the 1971 season, they came on strong. They beat Dallas, San Francisco, and L.A. during the year, and they tied Oakland at the very end of the year. That's what brought J.D. Roberts back.
Newland comes to the right. Abramovitz is wide to the left. Manning with a running back split out wide. From the 35 is back to throw again. Throws to the near sideline. Caught by Newland. And Newland is out of bounds at the Jet 27 and Sal's covering in the area. So Archie Manning staying in the air now. Is starting to move the Saints deeper into Jet territory. He got 8 on the last play to make it 2nd down and 2.
Well, speaking about the Saints coach, J.D. Roberts, he said after last week's win over the Rams that he intended to be around next year, but the Saints owner, John Meekum, said, I gave J.D. a vote of confidence for this year. And other than that, I have nothing to say, and there's every indication that the Saints will make a change at the end of the season.
There's a slot to the left for New Orleans on 2nd down 2. Manning with a running back split calls his play, and this time he goes to the fullback, Jim Strong. Strong is down across the 25, near the 23, and he's got another first down for New Orleans. Jackson in on the tackle. He is starting right in today. Now coming in is Bill Butler in the backfield, and going out, Jim Strong. Butler, a rookie from Kansas State at 6 feet, 218 pounds. Manning has completed 3 out of 3 for 41 yards. And going into the game today, he had thrown for 2,181 yards, 14 touchdowns, 16 interceptions. A slot left for New Orleans. Over the ball, John Didion. Back to pass Manning after faking. Throwing for the end zone for Newland. Incomplete. Back in the corner of the end zone. The Jets had double coverage with W.K. Hicks and Rich Sowles.
Mark Loomis, playing the right tackle spot today, had a good pass rush on Manning. I always thought that Loomis did better when he did play occasionally at the tackle slot. Of course, he has been playing the regular defensive end position for the Jets for the last several seasons, but for some reason, he seems to be more aggressive when he is at that tackle slot. We talked to him on the pregame show, and he indicated also that he felt more secure at tackle, didn't have as much to worry about, could just rear back and come on that quarterback.
Abramowitz left, Newland right, Manning to throw for Newland, near sideline, diving catch and drops the ball at the 15-yard line. Ralph Baker, the left linebacker, and Rich Sowles were over in the area. Manning's pass was low. Newland, the second-year man from Oregon, tried to make a diving, rolling catch, but he just couldn't hold on. It's 3rd down New Orleans at the Jet 23. In the first quarter, the Bengals of Cincinnati lead the Giants 3-0. Cleveland is playing at Pittsburgh, and a big one as far as the Jets are concerned. Miami at New England. Would you believe New England clobbered Miami up there last year? They did.
Still can't believe they beat the Redskins this year.
Dan Abramowitz wide to the left, and going to the right side is Bob Newland. The running backs are Gresham and Butler, split wide. Manning calls it 3rd down 10 from the 23. Manning dropping straight back to throw. Good rush for the Jets, and Manning throwing for the end zone. Tipped away by W.K. Hicks, intended for Dave Parks, the tight end. The Jets had Gus Holloman coming from the right side, and a great rush by Jackson. Holloman was up on the line of scrimmage as the play started. Philbin also had a good rush. And now the Saints will try to tie it with a field goal. In to do the kicking, Happy Feller. To hold, Vivian Lee. Check that, Ed Hargett. Ed Hargett will hold at the 30. Feller puts it in the air, and it is good. A 30-yard field goal by Happy Feller. With 42 seconds to go in the first quarter, there's a timeout on the field to score. The Jets 3 and the Saints 3.
Troy Savings Bank has been making it easier to save for almost 150 years. Now we make it easier for you to earn more on your savings through continuous compounding. Interest rates are the same, the highest permitted by law, but the annual yield is greater on all accounts at Troy Savings Bank if interest is left to accumulate in the account. Now you can earn 6.27% effective annual yield on 6% 2-year certificates of deposit, 6% on 5 3/4% 1-year certificates of deposit, and 5.20% on 5% regular and day of deposit to day of withdrawal accounts. Continuous compounding by Troy's Computers makes the big difference, and interest on all certificates of deposit. Minimum deposit $500 is guaranteed. Open your account with Troy Savings Bank now and start earning more on your savings immediately. Troy Savings Bank, member FDIC.
WTRY FM, Albany, New York.
Happy Feller is getting ready to kick off for New Orleans. Back deep, Hank Bajorklin and Chris Farasopoulos. Here's Happy Feller putting the ball downfield end over end. It'll be taken by Farasopoulos right on the goal line. Chris comes out to the 10, goes to the 15, hits the 20, puts his head down, gets to the 21, and is stopped right there. And the tackler, Dick Palmer. So it's first down for the Jets at the New York 21 with a score tied. 3-3. We're down to 30 seconds to play in the first period. Bobby Howfield's field goal, which was the first score of the afternoon, tied him with Ray Jarrella of Pittsburgh for scoring honors in the NFL, 92 points. Bell to the left side. Don Maynard out wide to the right. McLean and Riggins are the setbacks. We're down to 12 seconds. Namath calling the play from the 21. The Jets go set, and Namath is back to pass. Namath throwing to the far side, and the catch made by Rich Castor, the tight end of the 27. He is wrestled out of bounds by Doug Wyatt and by Tom Russell. Now we're down to 2 seconds, and as Castor went out of bounds, that stopped the clock. So at the 27, the Jets will have a second down. They'll have time for one more play here in the first quarter.
Well, coming into today's game, the Jets ranked number 2 in the American Football Conference on offense, number 4 rushing, number 1 passing. On defense, they ranked number 11 in the 13-team conference.
Eddie Bell to the left side. Don Maynard out wide to the right, and Castor, the tight end, is set on the right side, and Namath is back to throw for the second time. He throws for Maynard on the sideline, out of bounds. At the 43, incomplete. The gun sounds, and that's the end of the first quarter. And the score, the New York Jets 3 and the New Orleans Saints 3. Let's take a 60-second Jet break for this announcement.
Well, we mentioned that the New Orleans Saints had a no-name team. They talk a lot about Miami's no-name defense, but it's hard to find recognizable names on this Saints club. The only 4 that I know are Manning, Abramowitz, and Dave Parks, and of course one of the offensive tackles has a fairly well-known name, Glenn Ray Hines. But let's take a look at those other offensive tackles. At left tackle, they have Don Morrison, a young one. He's only in his second year. Good size at 6'5", 255 pounds. At left guard, they've got a rookie, Carl Johnson, 6'3", 241 pounds. At center, a 4-year man, Don Didion, who's 6'4", also 245 pounds. And at right guard, they've got Dell Williams. Now, he's one that I have heard of, a pretty good offensive guard, 6'2", 245 pounds in his 6th year. And, of course, at right tackle, they have the veteran Glenn Ray Hines in his 7th year.
Now the Jets put the ball in play here in the second quarter with a third down and about 5 at the Jet 27. Out of the huddle they come. John Schmidt is over the ball. Eddie Bell going to the left side. Don Maynard wide to the right. Castor, the tight end, is set on the right side. Namath has his running backs wide. Cliff McLean and John Riggins. Third down call. Namath backpedals to pass. Joe looking. Joe throwing to McLean for the first down on the 35, and Cliff was dumped at about the 37 by Joe Fettersfield, the middle linebacker. Now we'll pause briefly for station identification on the Jet Set Network.
This is Stereo 106 WTRY FM, Albany, New York, the big sport in town.
Merle, Harmon, and Sam DeLuca at the Big Shea in New York, where the Jets and Saints are tied at 3-3 in the second quarter. We're just underway in the second period. McLean just got the first down at the 36-yard line. Coming to the right side, Maynard. Going out wide left, Eddie Bell. The Jets go set. Namath is back to pass. He looks and he throws for Maynard, and it's a battle for the ball. We might have an interception. We do on the 39. It's grabbed off by Jackson. Jackson coming back to the near side, but the ball is going to be marked back on the 39-yard line. Ernie Jackson and Don Maynard were battling for the ball. And now let's see who owns it. The Jet defense is coming on, and Jackson has possession.
And Maynard didn't see Jackson coming up behind him, cut in front of him at the last moment, but Maynard did have his hands on the ball. Jackson just tugged a little bit harder, and he pulled it out of Maynard's hands and had the ball. He had better body position as the ball was approaching.
Bob Newland right. Dan Abramowitz is out wide. And Archie Manning, a handoff to Gresham. Gresham getting to the outside at the 45 at the midfield stripe, down into Jet territory, tried to cut in, and was dumped on the 37. Joey Jackson on the tackle with W.K. Hicks, but a big gainer. 23 yards. That was Salz in place of Hicks on the tackle. Coming back into the game now. Newland, he had started at the sideline. Now he stays in.
Well, they hooked Jackson pretty good on that last play. He was kept on the line of scrimmage in his defensive end spot. He didn't get out in pursuit, put a great deal of pressure on the cornerback trying to contain the running back.
Newland left, wide to the right, Abramowitz. First down on the Jet 37. Manning is back to throw, and he is throwing for Abramowitz. Makes the catch inside the 30, is dumped out of bounds on the 29-yard line by Early Thomas. So Abramowitz gets to the 29, and that'll be a second down and 2.
Abramowitz is one of those guys who doesn't have the great speed. He's not a speedster, but he is a fine receiver, primarily because he pays attention to patterns, he pays attention to detail, plus he works out all year. He's one of those guys who doesn't work during the off-season, says he takes off for about a month, and then after that it's running every day.
Abramowitz right, Newland left. New Orleans in the eye. Manning the quarterback. Manning a handoff to Gresham. Big hole in the middle for a first down across the 25, down to the 23. Ralph Baker is on the stop for New York with help from Joey Jackson, the right end. Danny Abramowitz is out of Xavier, an unheralded ball player when he joined the Saints. Had a great rookie year. He's 6'1" and 195. As Sam said, has the strong, sure hand.
Yeah, seems to have lost some enthusiasm, as much of these Saints have lost, and we'll get to that in a moment, Merle.
They look like they're pretty enthusiastic right now, though. They're on the drive, game tied 3-3, second quarter here at the Big Shea. Wide receiver to each side for New Orleans. Manning is back to throw. Flag is down. Manning throwing for Abramowitz, has it on the sideline across the way, and the 16, he is out of bounds. Knocked out of bounds by Early Thomas, but let's see what the flag is about. Thrown as the play got underway, and the penalty is indicated against New Orleans.
Well, talking about enthusiasm and this Saints ball club, after they played Atlanta just about 2 weeks ago, they lost to Atlanta. Cornerback Ken Reeves of the Atlanta Falcons, who had always played against Abramowitz, and they had some pretty good battles, claimed that it was disappointing to him because Abramowitz didn't have that old spark. And speaking to people associated with the Saints or who had followed them closely, they all indicated the same thing, that there was just some discontent on the club, and they were playing a shoddy type of football, the type of football that indicated they didn't care. Today they've been doing quite well. Perhaps it was that win last week over the Rams.
First and 15 at the 28 of New York after a 5-yard penalty for backs in motion. Wide receiver to each side. Manning backpedaling. Good rush for the Jets. Manning gets it away, throwing for Dave Parks. It's incomplete. And Joey Jackson leveled Archie Manning. So Parks, the intended receiver, he's the tight end. Manning had to unload. It'll be second and 15 on the 28.
Coming into today's game, the New Orleans Saints ranked number 10 on offense in the 13-team National Football Conference. They were 13 rushing and 5 passing. On defense, they ranked number 11, 12 against the rush and 11 against the pass.
Second down call. Bill Butler has come into the backfield for New Orleans, replacing Jim Strong. So now it's Butler and Gresham. And the Saints come out in a slot to the left with Newland and Abramowitz wide. Manning going back to pass. Another rush by Jackson. Manning gets a screen away, this time going to Butler at the 30. Butler breaking a tackle, is down to the 20. Butler down to the 16-yard line before he is tackled by Chris Verisopoulos, who is now in, and Ralph Baker. So Manning got the screen away. And now New Orleans at the 16 has a third down and 3. So a gain of 12 on the play.
Yeah, John Little read the screen perfectly, and then he ruined what would have been an outstanding play for him by missing the tackle. Had a clear shot at the ball carrier. Wisely, Manning ran that screen toward Joey Jackson, the Jets' rookie defensive end, starting his first game at right end for the Jets.
Abramowitz to the left. Newland in the slot left. 3rd down, 3 for New Orleans. Manning rolling to the left, may keep the ball. He will at the 20. Is knocked out of bounds by Al Atkinson on the 16. No gain. 4th down, 3. A rollout by Archie Manning, a planned play with a quarterback carrying. But Al Atkinson covered well, and it's 4th down, 3, and Happy Feller comes on. He has already kicked a 30-yard field goal, and he will now try to put New Orleans into the lead.
Yeah, Jackson, the defensive end for the Jets, played that fairly well. He had good position on the offensive tackle, and then he was hit down around his knees by one of the setbacks.
Hargett holding from the 23. Feller puts it in the air. It is not good. Had a clear shot, and he missed it. Off to the left. So there's a timeout on the field, and the score, the New Orleans Saints 3 and the New York Jets 3.
All my men wear English leather, every one of them. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice?
If all your men wear English leather aftershave or cologne, you've got a lot less gift-giving headaches. Give him English leather or Timberline or Windrift or English leather lime, all handsomely gift packaged. Isn't that nice?
English leather, isn't that nice?
In a lot of states, driving on a badly worn tire isn't just dangerous, it's illegal. If the police catch you driving on worn tires, you're in trouble. If the police don't catch you, you may be in even more trouble. You're riding on borrowed time. Tire Industry Safety Council.
Now the Jets put the ball in play from their own 20. After the field goal attempt was missed by Happy Feller, he had it right up the middle and didn't get it. Namath back to pass on 1st down. Namath throwing over the middle of Riggins. Incomplete in the 33. Just as he caught the ball, he was hit hard by Tom Russell, or at least as he got his hands on the ball. Russell really popped him, and John couldn't hold on to the football. Had he been able to hold that ball and break that tackle, he would be running right now.
Yeah. Well, one of the criticisms of the Saints by the fans down in New Orleans has been the trades that they have made, and of course one of those trades sent away Tom Dempsey. And I'm sure if they're listening to this game, as they must be down in New Orleans, they're criticizing the coaching staff and the general manager who made that trade and finally unloaded Tom Dempsey, who's having a good year.
Wide to the left, Bell, to the right, Maynard. Namath backpedaling to throw it. He's got to throw for Maynard, and something happened, a wrong pattern there as Maynard cut in. The pass went to the outside of the sideline, and Don was well out in front of it. 3rd down and 10 from the 20. Tom Dempsey startled the world with a 63-yard field goal for New Orleans. Moores, Owens, and Long keep rotating at the right end, right tackle spot for New Orleans. This time it is Long coming out. 3rd down, 10 for New York.
Well, that last pass looked as if it was thrown away intentionally, but it wasn't. Joe Namath just overshot the receiver. He had good position.
Bell to the left side. Maynard out to the right on 3rd and 10 from the New York 20. Score tied 3-3 in the 2nd quarter. Namath goes back to throw. Rush is on. Namath throws over the middle of Riggins. Hits him this time at the 30, and John is pulled out of the 37 by Hugo Holotz. A good rush by Doug Moores, but Namath got it away right over the middle. The ball is spotted on the 36. So a 16-yard pickup gives the Jets a 1st down. Namath has now thrown for 62 yards, completing 6 out of 17. 1st down on the Jet 36. Check that. He has thrown 12 times and completed 6 for 62 yards. Eddie Bell goes left. Don Maynard goes right. Rich Castor is set on the right side as the tight end. Namath hands off to McLean. McLean picking his way across the 40 is dumped at about the 41 by Wayne Coleman. Bob Swias out there blocking for him. He got about 5 yards, and I'm not really sure how, because he kept getting tagged. I don't know how many times he was tagged going up there. Barkham in for a play, goes out, and Maynard is back in. A long 5 on a second down coming up for New York. Eddie Bell wide to the left, and Don Maynard comes out to the right side. Score tied 3-3, 9.5 minutes left to play in the first half. Running backs are McLean and Riggins. Second down call, the ball goes to Riggins. Riggins, no hold, bulls his way for a couple. Gets to the 43, and Dave Long, the right end, is on the stop for New Orleans. The Jets now have a third down, and about 3.5. The ball right on the 43-yard line of New York.
The Saints linebackers were lined up on the line of scrimmage then. The middle linebacker had a slight drop, but the two corner linebackers were right up there, and this has been unusual. Prior to, well, of course, that was a running situation. They had been lining up off the line and dropping back quickly.
Maynard right, Bell left. Namath back to throw, throws for Bell. Sideline pattern, tipped away, almost intercepted. Tipped away by Coleman, the right linebacker. And Tom Myers coming up, or rather Vivian Lee coming up from the secondary, took a shot at an interception, but he couldn't get it. Steve O'Neill is in to punt for the second time today for New York.
Yeah. Well, I think the Saints linebackers are a good example of why more and more teams have been running with the football. They use a zone in the defensive secondary, and many teams have their linebackers thinking pass first. When the secondary uses the zone, they start that drop quickly. That last play was a perfect illustration.
Here's O'Neill's punt, end over end, and it'll take a bounce rolling to the 20 and bounces back to the 22, where it's down by the Jets, Roy Kirksey. So the Saints put the ball in play at their own 22-yard line. This score is tied at 3-3 with 8.5 minutes to go in the first half. A 35-yard kick by Steve O'Neill. So with the score tied 3-3, there's a timeout on the field. Let's take a 60-second Jet break for this announcement.
We make it easier to save. That's Troy Savings Bank's philosophy. For you, not for us. Because we're working as hard as we can to make things easier for you in every way. Investing our depositors' money in the safest, surest way possible, so we can continue to pay the highest interest rates permitted by law. And making it easier for you to get a mortgage, a home improvement loan, savings bank life insurance, passbook loans, student loans, money orders. We're making it easier by having all our tellers on duty at peak business hours to keep lines moving, with extra banking and Saturday hours, with drive-in and walk-up tellers, with lots of free parking, and with 4 convenient offices, downtown Troy, East Greenbush, Whitehall, and Clifton Park. Open your account with Troy Savings Bank now, in person or by mail, and see how easy saving money can be. Troy Savings Bank. We make everything easier. Member FDIC.
The Saints with the first down of their own 22. Manning at quarterback as the running back split out wide. Manning go on a draw, gives off to Strong. Strong coming up to the 25, the 30, and bangs his way to the 32. If he doesn't have that first down, he'll be very close to it. Mike Taylor and Mark Lomas make the tackle.
And they're definitely running at Joey Jackson, Merle, the Jets' rookie defensive end. Not bad when they're running straight at him, and the offensive tackle has to hit him and control him and drive him either back or inside or outside, but they've gotten him on the draw play, on the screen play.
Well, the Saints are short by about the length of the football. It'll be second down, foot or so to go. Wide receivers to each side. Manning calls it. The Saints are in the eye, and the handoff is going to Gresham, and oh, does he get popped just as he hit the line of scrimmage by Ralph Baker, the left side linebacker. And he lost yardage on that one. The ball is put down just outside the 30, which makes it third down at almost 2 yards to go. Now a couple of changes for New Orleans. Craig Robinson comes in at a tackle. Abramowitz comes out. Bob Brown is coming in as a tight end now, so he'll be in there with Parks, and Newland is out. Third down, almost 2 yards to go. The running backs are in close. Manning, quarterback sneak, dives out to about the 32, and he'll be close. Al Atkinson stops the play. Newland comes back in, Abramowitz comes back in, and Manning got the first down at the 33. Score tied, 3-3 with 6:50 to play in the first half here at the Big Shea. Baker, Atkinson, and Loomis stopping the last play for New York. Bob Newland wide to the left, going to the right side of Abramowitz. 1st and 10 for New Orleans. Archie Manning out of Ole Miss. Back to pass, dropping back deep. Pumps once and throws long now. Down the right sideline for Abramowitz, incomplete. He was covered and covered very well by Early Thomas. Abramowitz started looking back at the official, trying to find one right away to point a finger at Early Thomas and say, look what he did to me.
He had pretty good pass protection. The Jets really haven't mounted a good pass rush. Merle, you mentioned Ralph Baker a few moments ago. Of course, on the other side, Mike Taylor started for the Jets once again. Both Emerson Boozer and Larry Grantham are on the future list, and they're ineligible to play today. Both are in street clothes. Grantham actually passed waivers. Nobody picked him up. Weeb said that if anybody had claimed him, he would have taken him off, recalled him.
Wide to the left, Abramowitz. Going to the right side, Newland. Manning on a 2nd down call from the 33 of the Saints is back to pass. Good rush for the Jets. Manning gets it away and hits Newland on the 45. Newland near midfield is tackled by Early Thomas.
Merle, Gus Holloman was blitzing on that last play, and it's really surprising because when you've got superior personnel, as the Jets are supposed to have, over the New Orleans Saints, it's surprising that the Jets would blitz their safety. They blitzed him before successfully. That time it hurt them. You would think that they would play conservative defense and just dominate them on sheer power.
A 17-yard pickup right up against the midfield stripe is the ball now. Abramowitz wide to the left and going to the right side is Newland. Salz is over to cover Newland, and Early Thomas is on Abramowitz to the right side. Holloman again comes up with the line of scrimmage. Manning calling the play for New Orleans. Manning looks over the Jet defense. Manning on a handoff going to Strong, and Strong gets hit at the line of scrimmage. A jarring tackle by Al Atkinson along with John Little. John Little out of Oklahoma State. Those Cowboys had themselves a pretty good year this year.
No, but I think I know Walt Michaels and the other defensive coaches thinking on this matter. The Jets have been hurt by injuries. The fact that Grantham isn't in there, Elliott, Steve Tannen is out. They may feel that they've got to do something different. They've got to shake Manning, put some pressure on him. The way to do it is with a blitz.
2nd down and 10 near midfield for New Orleans. Manning backpedaling to throw. The rush is on. He gets it away, though, and he completes it to Strong into Jet territory and down the near sideline to the 40-yard line where he is chased out of bounds. Chris Farasopoulos from the secondary. Gus Holloman getting him out of bounds, and if that ball is marked at the just inside the 40, it's a first down, and it is. First down by a foot or so. Now Strong comes out, and Butler comes in as a running back for the Saints. Score tied, 3-3. We're down to 4 minutes, 43 seconds to play in the first half here at the Big Shea in New York. Archie Manning brings the Saints up to the line of scrimmage. The running backs are split wide. Manning barks the play in that Mississippi drawl. He hands off to Gresham, rather. Gresham swinging around his own right end, down to the 35 and out of bounds. He's knocked down to the 34, and I guess he didn't get out of bounds. Holloman took him down, along with Chris Farasopoulos. They line the ball up right on the 34-yard line. Coming back in now is Jim Strong. Coming out, Bill Butler as a running back for New Orleans. 2nd down, 4. Clock is running at 4 minutes, 10 seconds to play in the first half. Score is tied at 3-3. The Saints have now rushed for a total of 70 yards. Gresham has 44 of them in 6 carries. 2nd down, 4. The Saints go slot to the left. Thomas and Salz are out there covering those wide receivers. Manning goes back to throw on a 2nd down. He throws to the far sideline and hits Newland for a first down on the Jet 25. Knocked out of bounds by Rich Salz, and it's a first down for the New Orleans Saints.
Jets' defensive problems continue. They've had problems all year on defense, and the fans here at Shea Stadium recognize it. A good pass by Manning, Merle. Wasn't a long pass, but again, he had to clear the linebackers. Ralph Baker was in the area. He didn't rifle the ball. He just sort of lofted the ball over Ralph Baker's outstretched hands into the hands of the receiver.
The Saints now have 10 first downs to 5 for the Jets. This time wide receivers to each side. Manning a handoff going to Gresham. Gresham started up the middle, cuts to the outside, and is wrestled down to the 20-yard line by Chris Parasopolis and by Gus Holloman. So the gain is 5. It'll be 2nd and 5, and Phil Wise comes into the secondary for New York. Gus Holloman goes out. Bill Butler into the backfield for New Orleans, and Jim Strong is out of the ball game. It'll be 2nd down and 5 for the Saints. Newland goes to the left side. Dan Abramowitz wide to the right. The tight end, Dave Parks, is set up on the right side for the Saints. John Didion over the ball. Archie Manning calling it for New Orleans. 2nd and 5 from the 20, and the handoff is going to Butler, and Butler bangs down inside the 20 to almost the 16. He does not have a first down, however. Tackle made by Joey Jackson. Also getting up is Al Atkinson. Craig Robinson now comes in for New Orleans, along with Bob Brown, and the 2 wide receivers come out.
Saints haven't sustained an outstanding running game, but they've run just enough to keep that Jet secondary and the linebackers honest. And of course, they've moved the ball better than the Jets. They've got 10 first downs to only 5 for the Jets.
The ends are in tight. 3rd down and 1 with a handoff to Butler. Butler has the first down, is down to the 10, goes all the way down to the 7. John Little on the tackle for New York, and it's first down and goal to go on the 7-yard line, and we're down to the 2-minute mark. So there's a timeout on the field, and the score: the New Orleans Saints 3 and the New York Jets 3.
Troy Savings Bank isn't the only bank paying the new higher yields on your savings, but it was first in the Capital District to offer the highest yield permissible through continuous compounding. In almost 150 years of service, Troy Savings has had many firsts to its credit and pledges to continue to lead the way in the best interest of its loyal depositors. Troy Savings Bank makes it easier to save and earn the highest interest rates permitted by law. Easier to secure a mortgage, easier to get a home improvement loan, easier to get a student loan, easier to buy Savings Bank life insurance, easier to get a passbook loan without disturbing your savings, easier to transact business with all tellers on duty at peak hours, extra banking and Saturday hours, drive-in and walk-up tellers, and free parking. Open your account now with Troy Savings Bank. Downtown Troy, East Greenbush, Whitehall, or Clifton Park. We make everything easier. Member FDIC.
Two minutes to play down the first half. New Orleans down to the 7-yard line of the Jets, where it's first and goal to go. The Saints, as Sam has already mentioned, have not had much of a running game this year, but they already have accounted for 88 yards on the ground in this half.
Yeah, it's been Archie Manning up until this point. They lost to the Lions 2 weeks ago before the Jets played them, but Archie Manning played well in that game. He was 20 for 30 for 250 yards, and last week in beating the Rams, Manning was 15 of 30 for 158 yards.
Now New Orleans comes out in a power eye with the ends in tight, and Manning rolling right, pitches back on the option now to Gresham at the 5, and he is knocked down at about the 3. Brought down by John Mooring and by Al Atkinson. It'll be 2nd and goal to go.
And again, Merle, that was the option play with Manning running with a football. That time he chose to pitch it out to his halfback, trailing him. Evidently, the Saints saw that the Lions had success against the Jets with Greg Landry running that option play, and if they didn't have the play in their offense, they put it in for the Jets this week.
Now the Saints come out with a full house tee. Manning and a handoff to Gresham at the 5, at the 1, at the goal line, touchdown. Jim Gresham scoring for New Orleans, or rather Bob Gresham. So Bob Gresham goes over, the second-year man from West Virginia. And the Saints go into the lead now by a score of 9-3. We'll pause briefly for station identification. Your dial is Jet Set.
You're listening to New York Jets football from Stereo 106, WTRY FM, Albany, New York, the big sport in town.
Happy Feller for the extra point. It's good. So there's a timeout on the field, and the score, the Saints 10 and the Jets 3.
All my men wear English leather, every one of them. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice?
It's especially nice if you like the fresh smell of lime, because English leather lime aftershave and cologne have so much lime in them. It's like picking fresh limes off a tree, and that fresh scent lasts a long, long time.
English leather, isn't that nice? He loves me not. He loves me. He loves me not. Hey, what you doing? Finding out if you love me. He loves me. He loves me not. He loves me. He loves me not. He loves me. He loves me. You love me. I could have told you that. Then why didn't you? Why didn't you?
Happy Feller getting ready to kick off in New Orleans. The Jets are down by 10-3 with 1:17 seconds to go in the first half. But Bjorklund and Farasopoulos are deep for the Jets, and here's Feller's kickoff. It's going to come to Farasopoulos, and he fields the ball at the 4, to the 10, to the 15, goes to the 20, up to the 25-30, 35-40, cuts in and is dumped in the 42 by Happy Feller, who kicked the ball. A great return, 38 yards by Chris Farasopoulos. Now let's see what the Jets can do in 1:09.
Yeah, I think that the good run back, Merle, more or less determined what the Jets will do. If he had brought the ball out to the 20-yard line, then it would have been a question. I think in this instance, with the ball on the 44, Joe Namath will put it in the air. They're going to go for the score.
Here's Namath going back to pass. He is in the pocket. He is throwing long for Don Maynard down the sideline, out of bounds. Namath got knocked down on the play. Good rush there by Richard Neal. Jackson was covering the intended receiver. On the last play on the kickoff return, Roy Kirksey was helped off the field by his teammates, hobbled off the field.
Namath had a good rush on him. He may have had to unload that ball just a little prematurely.
Barkham comes in for Don Maynard. 51 seconds remaining in the first half. The Saints lead it by a score of 10-3. Emerson Boozer will be our halftime guest. Barkham to the right side. Eddie Bell is wide to the left. John Schmidt over the ball. Namath on the draw to Riggins. Riggins hit at the line of scrimmage at the 42. Doug Moore is making the tackle, and the Jets call a timeout to stop the clock with 45 seconds left. And they will still have 2 timeouts remaining. It'll be 3rd down and 10 on the Jet 42-yard line.
Well, it just shows that the fans do read the newspapers, Merle. All week in the papers, the Jets have been criticized for their conservative approach, for running a draw play last week with only seconds remaining in the first half. And evidently, once again, the fans thought Namath should have put the ball in the air, should have gone for the quick score.
Other games, Atlanta leading Houston 10-0 in the first quarter. Philadelphia over Washington 7-3 in the first quarter. Miami is ahead of New England 3-0 in the first quarter on a field goal by Yepremian. Pittsburgh 3, Cleveland 0 in the first quarter. And the Cincinnati Bengals lead the Giants 6-0 in the second quarter. The Jets have the ball at their own 42 with a 3rd down and 10 coming. Joe Namath breaks the huddle. Maynard back in, comes to the right. Eddie Bell going wide to the left. Riggins and McClain are the setbacks. Castor, the tight end, is set on the right side. The Jets go set as Namath calls the play, and Joe is back to pass. He is looking to the left side, throwing for Bell, has him in New Orleans territory on the 40, trying to get blocking, tried to cut back, lost about 4 yards, but he has a first down at the 43. Vivian Lee made the tackle, and the Jets stopped the clock with a timeout. Now they have 1 timeout remaining. Eddie Bell trying to pick up blocking Lost about 3 yards from where he originally caught the ball, but that's all right. He still had the first down, and a good move on Eddie Bell's part. A 15-yard pickup on the play. First down at the New Orleans 43. 35 seconds showing on the clock. New Orleans out in front by a score of 10-3. Next week, actually a week from tomorrow, Monday, December 11th, the Jets will be in California to play their big rivals, the Oakland Raiders. Listen in at 8:35 p.m. for Don Crickey and Sam DeLuca with their pregame shows. That's Monday night, December 11th, when the Jets take on the Raiders in Oakland.
Well, of course, we talked about the Jets' defense, and the defensive unit is not playing well. They've got some injuries, but really that offensive unit, with the exception of Emerson Boozer, is intact, and they haven't been playing good football here in the first half. The offensive line has not done a job. They haven't moved out quickly. They're not getting off the ball with a snap. They're not pushing the Saints back. They haven't even given Joe Namath good pass protection. There's something lacking. The spark seems to be gone.
Near the 42, the Jets put the ball in play. Between the 42 and 43, Bell to the left side, Barkham to the right, Castor, the tight end, is set on the right. 35 seconds to go in the first half. Namath goes back to throw. The rush is on. He's in the pocket. He is throwing for Bell and is almost intercepted. Vivian Lee back on the 5-yard line made a dive for the ball, but he couldn't hold on to it. Namath had to go. The pressure was there for the Saints forwards. The clock is stopped with 29 seconds to go in the first half. The early report is that Roy Kirksey may have torn ligaments in the knee. That guy has had so many injuries, you can fill a book with him.
Yeah, he's had his problems. Again, they had a very good pass rush on Namath, but I don't think that the rush was the reason for the poorly thrown pass. Eddie Bell had good position. The Saints were in a deep zone, dropping back. He was clear over the middle there, and Namath just overthrew him, almost through to the defense. It was almost intercepted.
2nd and 10. Maynard back into the right. Bell to the left. Namath back to pass in the pocket. Throwing. Caught by McLean inside the 25. He is dumped on the 20 by Wayne Coleman. But there's a flag on the play back in the midfield stripe. So the Jets are going to lose that big gain, it would appear, as the Jets nailed for holding. So the Jets lose the gain, which took the ball to the 20.
Dave Harmon was kicking the ground, but I think the penalty was on Bob Swias, the Jets tackle.
The ball goes back into Jet territory at the 42. 20 seconds remain now in the first half. New Orleans out in front by a score of 10-3. Well, you called it right, Sam. Bob Swias gets nailed, and it has been announced to the fans in the stands that Swias was detected for holding. The Jets come out of the huddle, and John Schmidt is up over the ball. Maynard going to the right, Eddie Bell wide to the left. Castor, the tight end, is set on the right side. 2nd down and 25. Namath is back to throw. Again, the rush on by Neal. Namath throwing for Bell. Has him get out of bounds, Eddie. He does. Inside the 40 at the 38-yard line. Lee chased him out. That's down in New Orleans territory. And so Namath and Bell lead up a lot of that last loss. They get 19 yards of it back. But we're down to 14 seconds remaining in the first half as Namath gets the Jets into Bobby Howfield's field goal range.
Yeah, I don't know what's the matter with that Jet offensive line. I thought that last play was a screen pass because the defensive lineman got by the left side of the Jets' offensive line so quickly. They were in there on Namath so quickly, I thought it was a screen.
Now it is 3rd down, 4. Check that. 3rd down and 6. Here's a handoff to McLean. He bangs into the middle of the 32. Now we're down to 9 seconds. Neal making the tackle, and the Jets are trying to call timeout, and finally do with 3 seconds remaining, and they get Howfield on. The Jets were jumping up and down trying to get a timeout, but the clock kept running. But they finally get it stopped with 3 seconds remaining, and Bob Howfield and company move out on the field. The Jets got the first down at the 32, so Howfield will be going from around the 38, somewhere in that area. Bob Davis lines up to hold the ball. There'll be a slight angle left at the hash mark. Not really much of an angle anymore with the hash marks in close. The attempt will be from the 39. 3 seconds remaining in the first half. Outfield has kicked a 30-yard field goal for the Jets score back in the first period. Davis awaits the snap, and here it is. The ball is down, the kick is on the way, the distance is all right. It is good. The field goal from the 39 is good, and there's the gun that closes out the first half. So there's the end of the first half, and the score, the New Orleans Saints 10, the New York Jets 6. Let's take a 60-second jet break for this announcement.
We mentioned the Jets have had a problem giving Joe Namath pass protection. They haven't been keeping the backs in, which is what the Jets usually do, and they expect Joe Namath to throw deep. But of course, against a team like the New Orleans Saints, you wouldn't expect that they would have to keep their setbacks in to help the offensive line pass protect. You do have 5 offensive linemen going against 4 defensive linemen, and they should be able to do the job against an average team like the Saints, a weak team like the Saints. Let's take a quick look at the Saints defensive line. It's a young one. At left end, they've got Richard Neo. He's 6'3", 254 pounds in his third year. At left tackle, Bob Pollard, 6'3", 245 in his second year. He's their best defensive lineman. At right tackle, Dave Moores. He's 6'6", 265 pounds, also in his second year. And at right end, Dave Long, 245, 6'4". He has all the experience with 7 years.
We'll be back with our halftime guest, Emerson Boozer, and more Jets football after we pause for the latest news. At halftime, the score. The New Orleans Saints 10 and the New York Jets 6. Your dial is Jet Set.
The news at halftime. White House advisor Henry Kissinger is shuttling back to Paris again for what could develop into the final round of secret peace talks on Vietnam. Kissinger took off shortly before 10:30 this morning from Andrews Air Force Base after a round of last-minute instructions from President Nixon at the Florida White House at Key Biscayne. Tomorrow, the globe-trotting envoy will sit down with North Vietnamese negotiators led by Le Duc Tho in a bid to unravel snags in the draft ceasefire. Hanoi Radio charges the Nixon administration is lying to the American people when it says it is trying to end the war. A broadcast foreign ministry statement says the continued U.S. bombing means Washington does not intend to wind up its military involvement in the conflict. The statement demands that the United States end the bombing and the mining of North Vietnamese ports and immediately sign the draft peace agreement worked out by Washington and Hanoi. In the war itself, there's been an upsurge of fighting in South Vietnam. Enemy troops and artillery fire drove a battalion of South Vietnamese Rangers from a defensive position in the Central Highlands. According to the Saigon Command, the communist ground attacks were beaten off before the Rangers withdrew from their post 8 miles southwest of Con Tum City. 9 enemy troops were reported killed in a communist assault which was hurled back near the district town of Mo Duc on the central coast. On the northern coast, South Vietnamese Marines reportedly killed 37 North Vietnamese soldiers in a 10-hour battle northeast of Quang Tri City. A strike which has stalled the nation's busiest commuter line, the Long Island Railroad, is the target of 2 meetings scheduled for this afternoon. One is a resumption of negotiations with the striking non-operating unions. The other, on which both strikers and management have their eyes, is a meeting of operating personnel who have respected the other union's picket lines for the past 4 days. Operations have returned to normal at Israel's Lod Airport following a strike by civil aviation workers there. However, there's no end in sight for the walkout by some 5,500 communications technicians, now in its 5th day. That strike has crippled Israel's international communications as well as telephone service within the country. Today's crash of a Spanish charter flight in the Canary Islands ranks as the 4th worst in commercial aviation history. Officials say all 155 persons aboard died when the jet carrying German tourists home from an Atlantic cruise exploded on takeoff from the airport on the island of Santa Cruz de Tenerife, Spain. The plane carried 7 Spanish crew members and 148 passengers, all German nationals. Here at home, Democratic National Chairman Jean Westwood told the nation's Democratic governors today she is willing to step down if all the warring elements in the party can agree on someone to replace her. Mrs. Westwood appeared at the opening in St. Louis of a specially convened one-day conference at which the governors hope to agree on a candidate to take her place and thereby assert new influence in party affairs. The government in Dublin has been given the green light to begin a roundup of Irish Republican Army leaders. That's the latest news. Now back to Merle Harmon.
At halftime of the Big Shea in New York, the Saints lead the Jets by a score of 10-6. And this is Merle Harmon, and I'll be back with my halftime guest, Emerson Boozer, in just a moment.
This is George Burns introducing the Navy 3-year guarantee. It's for guys 17 or 18 years old who'd like a choice in deciding what kind of work they do and where they do it. Here's how the Navy 3-year guarantee works. You can come in the Navy for 3 years, and they'll guarantee you at least 2 things. The first, your choice of either the East Coast or the West Coast as a place to work out of. And second, your choice of sea duty, which means you'll be seeing a lot of the oceans of this world. Or work as an airman recruit, which means you'll be seeing a lot of airplanes. Maybe even be on an aircraft carrier. Now, where else could a guy your age get a deal like this? For only a 3-year commitment. Certainly not in private industry. You know you should see your Navy man soon. He'll tell you if you qualify for the Navy 3-year guarantee. You see, today's Navy helps you be what you want to be right now.
Emerson Boozer, the Jets, still leads all scorers as runners, I should say. The kicking specialist, Jarrella and Howfield, now lead the NFL in scoring, each with 95 points, but Emerson Boozer has got 13 touchdowns to his credit. He's a tremendous football player, as you all know, and a sportscaster. And today he's going to turn expert analyst for us here at the half. And Em, as we always tell the guys who want to be on the field, we really wish you were down there, but since that's impossible today, we're glad to have you up here with us.
Well, we're having our troubles on the field right now, and I kind of wish that I was down there to play, but unfortunately, I've got to sit out until next week against Oakland. We're having our troubles here today, though.
All right, what are the troubles, Em?
We're not moving the ball offensively as well as we should, but our main problem is defense. We haven't been able to stop this ball club. They've had 2 very good drives on us, and we've got to shut them off defensively and hope that the offense can move. It appeared in the last 2 minutes that we went into a hurry-up offense, or a 2-minute offense, where we know we can throw in certain areas. I think at the half here, right now, they'll probably reworking the offensive game plan so that we will attack basically the same as we attacked them just before the half. That is throwing the ball into the dead spots, coming to our halfback a little bit more, coming to the fullback a little bit more, and trying to work the ball to Eddie because they're doubling with the linebacker to Eddie's side, which gives the halfback a good chance of getting into that open spot there. And once you start to hit the halfback, that'll pull that linebacker back to his original man, which is that halfback.
You've got a pretty good analysis of what was going on there in the first half, and you got it from the sideline. How about the activity on the bench over there in the first half?
Well, it's been a cold day, and the bench appears to be a little bit cold, too, because everybody is tensed. We know it's a must ball game, so you tend to clam up a bit. You get too excited sometimes about a game like this, you get blown off the field, so it's a quiet sideline.
What happened to Kirksey?
He tore left knee, I think it is. Doc said he doesn't know how bad it is, but definitely surgery.
Now, you've had your problems with knees, and you've also undergone surgery. You've missed some ball games this year. How long does it really take for a guy? Well, take yourself. Before you felt like that you were totally relaxed and could run and could cut, and mainly had the confidence to do all this without even giving it a second thought.
Well, that's the key word, confidence. Sometimes it takes 2 years, even though the ball player comes back within a year's span, but he's not ready to play then. John Elliott is having similar problems. He's back playing good football, but there's a mental part that you have to overcome. When they cut the knee, they cut into the brain a bit, so it takes a year, 2, sometimes 3 years, and many ball players never come back from a knee injury.
Emerson, earlier we were talking about the Saints rushing game this afternoon, and it looks like they're kind of going at Joey Jackson.
Well, Joey is new in there. Lomas has been moved into tackle, so he's out of position. And the only strong side is Jerry and John Little. So having Mark and Joey on the same side, it has to weaken you a little bit. They are aware of it, and they're going in that direction after it.
Of course, with Joey, it's just a matter of time, the experience thing there once again.
Right, it's going to take a while for Joey to adjust to defensive end. It's going to take a while for Mark. Just moving over to right defensive tackle this week to come at home at that spot.
Emerson, the next game for the Jets, of course, is with Oakland a week from tomorrow night. on a Monday evening out in Oakland, and that series has always had, I think, some special significance. What would it be as far as you're concerned?
It's going to be one of the pivotal ball games. If we can get past the Saints today, we're down by 4 points. But as you mentioned earlier, we've always had a head-to-head battle with the Oakland Raiders. It should be a good day because if they don't clinch it this week, they're looking forward to knocking off the Jets. We've been passing for the Miami Dolphins in clinching the Eastern Division. Hopefully, we can spoil Oakland in clinching their division out there and keeping alive ourselves.
Let me go back to the injury thing for a moment, Emerson. Why are there so many nagging injuries in pro football today? The injury that knocks a guy out for a half or causes him to be able to go only half speed maybe or three-quarter speed the next game. So many of them that even causes the coaching staff to have to play a guy when they would really not like to. They'd like to give him another week off. But it seems as though so many football teams have these things now. Why so many? What's going on?
Well, the game has been stepped up drastically, Merle. This is the age of the specialist, where you have certain guys doing certain things, and that's just it. So you get one of your key ball players out there working again against a specialist. He's a fresh ball player. Your starter is a little bit tired. He doesn't know it and doesn't realize it, but the body starts to slow a little bit, tire down, wear down. So that specialist in there, he comes in there ready to go, fresh, and you're more apt to get hurt working against a specialist. Even down to the special teams. You get fresh guys that have been sitting there, and you've got a regular on your specialty teams, and he's playing either offense or defense, his body starts to tire a bit. Coming against a fresh ball player, oftentimes he gets hurt.
Tim, thanks so much for coming up, and continued good luck and success on your daily sports show. And we'll be seeing you in Oakland a week from tomorrow.
Thank you very much, Merle.
And now we'd like for you to have the exclusive and original Hamilton Beach self-buttering corn popper. As your pal Joe Namath says, there's nothing better. Try it. You'll know what I mean when you use Hamilton Beach. And for that ride out to Oakland next week, we're going to give you a copy of Sam DeLuca's book, and that'll keep you occupied as you read the football playbook. 400 information-packed pages with pictures and diagrams, and some of them are about you, Em. It'll tell you what you're all about. It sure will. Sam DeLuca's football playbook, published by Jonathan Davis. Emerson Boozer, our guest. And we'll be back with the second half kickoff in just a moment. Well, the Saints have made an entrance now for the second half. Saints coached by J.D. Roberts, a disciple of Bud Wilkinson at Oklahoma, an assistant coach at OU, an assistant coach at Navy. University of Denver came out of the Continental League to take over the New Orleans Saints. And he is looking at the scoreboard and sees his team ahead 10-6 as Bob Halfield gets ready to kick off here in the third quarter. And going back deep is Margene Atkins.
Well, I think he's an ex-Marine, and he's been running this club like a Marine drill sergeant. That's one of the problems.
Here's Halfield's kickoff. He bangs it way back into the end zone, started to be taken by Atkins, the ball at the upright. That'll be an automatic touchback, and will bring the ball out to the 20-yard line. Well, I had the pleasure of seeing J.D. Roberts play his college football at Oklahoma. He was a pulling guard, and I want to tell you, Sam, he could move, a two-time All-American.
Yeah, he was a good one. I remember him also. Not very big, but a good, solid guard.
Now the Saints offensive unit, Bob Newland and Dan Abramowitz at the wide receiver spots, Don Morrison, Glenn Ray Hines at tackles, guards Johnson, Carl, Dell Williams, running backs Gresham and Strong, quarterback Manning, tight end Parks. Here we go. Abramowitz wide to the left, and Manning goes to his fullback Jim Strong on a handoff, and he makes maybe a yard, two at the very most. Mark Lomas stops the play, the right tackle. Rob Baker assisting. Up front for New York on the defensive front line, Jerry Philbin, John Little, Mark Lomas, and Joey Jackson playing the right end today. Mike Taylor playing the right linebacker spot. Al Atkinson in the middle and Ralph Baker on the left side. Wide to the left, Abramowitz. Wide to the right, Bob Newland. The running backs are split wide. Second down call for Manning. 2nd and 8 on the 22 of New Orleans. Manning backpedaling to throw. The jet rushes on. Manning gets it away to the sideline. Flag on the play intended for Abramowitz. He was covered by Early Thomas. And a pass interference call is the indication. And it is against New Orleans, against Abramowitz. Abramowitz pushed off against Early Thomas. I kind of had a hunch that was a call because Abramowitz, as he was getting up, picked up a handful of grass and slammed it down. So the offense gets the pass interference call.
Yeah, Early Thomas was playing bump and run on Abramowitz, Merle. And it's a good idea to play against a receiver like Abramowitz that way, because Thomas has more speed, and he can afford to perhaps lose a step. And, of course, what you do when you play bump and run is destroy the timing. You don't allow the receiver to make his moves. You don't allow him to work with the quarterback as they work in practice, where he takes 3 steps, breaks over the middle, and then cuts toward the sideline. You're forcing the receiver to adjust. With a guy like Abramowitz, it frequently is more successful than with a speedy guy who can just take off and sometimes break it for a long one on you.
A half the distance penalty. There's a charge at the line of scrimmage, and the flags go down, and I think Parks might get hit with an illegal procedure call, and he does. Dave Parks, the tight end, made his break, and as soon as he did, the Jets charged across the line. The ball was spotted on the 11, and now the ball goes back almost to the 5.
It looks like he and Manning were the only two who had the wrong count on the part of the Saints offensive team, because Manning had started to move back from the center. He took 1 step back as Parks began to move out.
Second down and 24, almost 25. Manning calling signals. The Jet defense digs in. Manning goes back in the end zone to throw. Throws a swing pass out to Butler. Butler at the 10, Butler at the 15, at the 20, Butler at the 25, Butler at the 26. And the Saints almost get out of the hole. Atkinson and Parasopolis make the tackle. Butler, coming out of the backfield, took that flare at about the 2-yard line and battled his way out of there. Now they mark the ball at the 26, where it becomes 3rd down and 4.
Yeah, that's a tough pass for the quarterback and for the running back. There are 2 problems. Number 1, the running back knows that he's going to get clobbered, or there's a good chance that he will be hit when he catches the football. So there's a tendency to take your eyes off the football. And for the quarterback, that has to be thrown with pinpoint accuracy. There's no room for error because it's such a short pass. There's no time for the running back to adjust when catching it.
Manning drops back, blitzes on. Manning puts it in the air, has Parks wide open to the 32, 35, 40, 45, cuts back inside and goes down to the 45-yard line. Tackled by Parasopolis. The Jets had a blitz on. Baker was going, I believe Wise was going, and that left Parks out there, and he caught that ball all alone, went up 19 yards to the 45-yard line, and a first down for New Orleans.
Good play by Manning. He didn't lose his cool. Both the safety, Phil Wise, and the corner linebacker, Ralph Baker, were blitzing, and of course there was nobody covering that receiver in the flat, and Manning just didn't lose his cool. He saw them coming, looked over their heads, and he hit that guy all alone on the sideline.
Now first down to the New Orleans 45. Manning back to pass, looks to the near side, and he hits Newland, who gets hit on the 49-yard line by Steve Tannen, who's now playing that spot, and he drills him out of bounds on the 49-yard line of New Orleans. The gain is 4. It'll be second down 6. New Orleans leads 10-6. We're in the 3rd quarter.
Tannen had a fairly good shot on Abramowitz as he caught the ball. On those sideline patterns, it's precision, it's timing. The quarterback releases the football as the receiver makes his break toward the sideline. If the timing is accurate, there's really not much the defender can do except rack up the receiver after he catches the ball, trying to dislodge the ball from him.
Newland right, Abramowitz left, and a handoff goes to Gresham. Bob Gresham going wide, won't go anyplace. In fact, he loses a yard. Mike Taylor, the right linebacker, slammed in along with Phil Wise to make the tackle, and they were on Bob Gresham's heels as soon as he got a hold of that football. And John Little was also pouring in. The ball marked down on the 48-yard line, 3rd down 7 after a yard loss. 11 minutes, 25 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. The Jets have been able to manage but 2 field goals, one by for 30 yards, one for 39 by Howfield. Abramowitz out to the right side. Bob Newland wide to the left. Manning on his 3rd down call with 7, goes back to pass. Good rush by Philbin. Manning gets it away for Parks. He makes the catch, flag on the play. Parks is brought down to the 20-yard line of New York by Phil Wise. There was a flag thrown on the 35-yard line of New York. Pass interference is the initial call against New Orleans. That's the second time in a row now the Saints have been hit with an offensive pass interference call. And here comes the walk-off. 15 biggies. Takes the ball back inside the 35 to the 33-yard line of New Orleans.
Yeah, some receivers fight the bump and run, Merle. When the defender is playing bump and run, they try to continue with their predetermined pattern. If the quarterback has called a post route in the huddle, they will try to continue with that. Other more experienced receivers will adapt to the situation. A guy is playing bump and run. He's playing on the inside. He won't allow you to make that break toward the post, toward the goal post. A good receiver and an experienced quarterback will adapt. The receiver will break to the outside. If the quarterback reads it, they've got a completion. The Saints are trying to go through with their predetermined patterns. This is probably causing the pass interference.
Newland right, Abramowitz left on a 3rd down and 21, and Manning is backpedaling to throw. He throws at the 36-yard line to Butler coming out of the backfield. He slips and falls, gets up, crosses the 40, and is dumped to the 41. John Little covered him along with Early Thomas, so now the Saints have a 4th down and 14, and the punting unit comes on. Fearless Fagan out of the University of Mississippi will come on to do the punting for New Orleans. Going back deep for New York, Chris Farasopoulos. He'll be back at the 15-yard line. He'll be joined by Rocky Turner, who's up on the 25-yard line. Fagan has had one kick today. He is averaging just about 40 yards, a little over 40 yards. Fagan will be booting from around the 30. Takes a high snap, but he has time to get the ball away, and he puts it up high. Ball coming down on the Jet 25, rolling down the sideline. Great roll out of bounds inside the 15 at about the 13. So Fagan didn't get too much distance until the ball started to bounce and roll, and he winds up with a 46-yarder. And the Jets take over on their own 13. And they trail in this game by a score of 10-6. The Jets put the ball in play on their own 13. Bell to the left and Maynard right as Namath calls it for New York, and he hands off to Cliff McLean. McLean across the 15, gets to the 16 where he is stopped by Tom Roussel and Bob Pollard. Short gain on the play, about 3 yards. 2nd and 7 for New York. Cliff McLean has carried 6 times for 32 yards. 7 times for 32 yards. Riggins has carried 6 times for 17 yards. Back to pass Namath on 2nd down. Joe looking, throwing now for Maynard. Makes the catch at the 35-yard line and goes out of bounds. Billy Hayes covering in the area for New Orleans. Perfectly thrown by Joe Namath to Don Maynard for 19 yards and a 1st down on the Jet 35.
Now, once again, Merle, a good pass by Joe Namath. He had to thread the needle. These linebackers drop off very quickly. We indicated before that many of the teams using zone defense will drop the linebackers quickly to help the people in the defensive secondary. That's one of the reasons that the offensive teams have been running the football so often, because the linebackers play pass first and then run.
Bell to the left and Maynard to the right, and a handoff goes to Riggins. He bangs into the middle to the 40. Following the block of Dave Herman, Bob Pollard, the left tackle of New Orleans, stops the play with help by Joe Fetterspiel, the middle linebacker. The gain, about 5. And the Jets will have a 2nd and 5 from their own 40. And Riggins now is 22 yards, and he is getting closer and closer to Matt Snell's mark. He needs 25 in this game. He's 3 away. Eddie Bell to the left, Don Maynard to the right. Namath calls it on a 2nd down and 5 on the Jet 40. The Jets go set. Namath drops back, throws to Bell. Bell at the 35, needs a block. He reverses his field, trying to pick up a block at the 40. Is cut down to the 41. He ran all over the place, but didn't get too much yardage. He was covered by Bob Pollard, the left tackle. That's the play where Bell doesn't move. The Jets tried it earlier. Namath whipped the ball out to Bell, but Eddie needed the one block on the defender coming up, and it just wasn't there in time, and so Bell started running circles trying to pick up blocking. He picked up a yard. It's 3rd down and 4.
Yeah, if the cornerback had been laying off more and had given Bell just another split second, or given the Jets time to get their offensive lineman out there, then the play would have worked, but there just wasn't time. He's coming up very quickly, and he's on Bell just as soon as he catches the football.
Namath dropping back to throw. He throws, arches one high for Castor, battle on for the ball. Great catch by Castor on the 27. Castor with two men covering. Colas and Wyatt went up between them high and pulled that ball down to the 27-yard line of the Saints on a 32-yard pickup.
Well, that was on Wyatt, the defensive back, and he had good coverage on Castor. There were two men around Castor, but you've got to remember that the defensive back is told not to look into the backfield. He's looking at the receiver. The ball was lofted. It was hanging in the air. It was underthrown. The defensive back didn't know where it was. He overshot the ball. Castor came back, and he grabbed it.
Bell to the left and Maynard goes right. Castor is set on the right side. He has caught two passes for 37 yards so far. The Jets go set, a handoff to McLean. McLean gets a block from Riggins, tries to get to the outside, is stopped on the 26 by Doug Wyatt. McLean was also almost nailed for a loss, but Riggins gave him a last-minute block that cleared him there, and then he managed to pick up yardage to the 26, making it 2nd and 9.
Well, football really is a team game, and these guys have to learn to work with each other. The mark of a good back frequently is how he uses his blockers. Now, Bob Sweas was going out into that flat area. He would have picked up the defender that made the tackle if McLean had hesitated just for a split second and then cut back to the inside. Instead, he outran Sweas and consequently was tackled.
Namath back to pass on 2nd and 9. Good rush, swings one to Riggins, incomplete, flag on the play. Pass was down low around the ankles. A great rush by Owens, the right end, who leveled Namath, and a holding penalty is called against New York. So the Jets get nailed for 15 yards. That'll take the ball back not too far away from the midfield stripe. Other scores: Baltimore 7, Buffalo nothing in the first quarter, Denver nothing, Kansas City nothing in the first quarter, Miami 13, New England 7 in the first quarter, Pittsburgh 10, Cleveland nothing. That's a first quarter score.
Well, that penalty was also on Bob Sweas, and he's having a tough time of it. Last year, he graded out highest on the Jets' offensive line. Doesn't necessarily mean he was the best offensive lineman. I think Winston Hill was still the best Jets offensive lineman, but he did play well last year. He's had his problems this year. He was the guy that was playing over Verlon Biggs several weeks ago against the Redskins, and just hasn't been playing as well as he did last year.
The penalty moves the ball out to the 41. The penalty was from the line of scrimmage. Here's Namath calling the play on the 2nd and 23. Goes back to throw. Big rush again. He's in the pocket. He throws on the run, looping the ball for Maynard. It's incomplete at the 20-yard line. And once again, Namath gets leveled. Doug Wyatt was covering in the area. Joe stepped up in the pocket, but then he was almost on the run as he threw that ball. In fact, he threw it off balance as he spotted Maynard, but he overthrew him, and it's 3rd down, 23.
It wasn't a great rush. He had some time, but again, the offensive line has not protected Namath as well as they should against this New Orleans defense. In fact, they've given their quarterback, Archie Manning, better protection than Namath has received.
The Saints lead 10-6 here in the third quarter, 6:54 to play, 3rd down, 23 for New York on the New Orleans 41. Namath goes back to pass. Again, the rush on. Joe in the pocket, throwing, caught by Castor. Good catch at the 25, dumped on the 24, caught the ball in traffic. Roussel and Pollard made the tackle. And a gain of 16 yards. And the field goal unit with Bobby Howfield comes on a 4th and 8. Howfield has kicked field goals of 30 and 39 yards today. He is tied with Ray Girella of Pittsburgh for scoring honors at 95. At the 31, Bob Davis will hold. Over the ball, John Schmidt. Here's the snap. The kick on the way by Howfield. Distance all right. Good. Right up the middle. 9 points for Bobby Howfield in this game. And that's all the Jets have. The Saints lead 10-9. Margene Atkins is deep for New Orleans as Howfield approaches the ball for the kickoff. 10-9 New Orleans. We're 6:08 left in the third quarter, and Atkins will take the ball on the 2. to the 5, to the 10, to the 15 he comes. Up to the 20. Now goes the other way, trying to reverse his field. Pick up blocking at the 20, up to the 25, and is finally cut down at about the 28. John Eversole made the tackle on Margene Atkins. He is out of Henderson Junior College. So the Saints from the 28 with Archie Manning and company.
Merle, if Weeb Eubanks' halftime talk to the Jets didn't stir them up, that score on the scoreboard right now, Pittsburgh 10 and Cleveland nothing, should do it, because the Jets still have an outside chance at the wild card slot. They play the Cleveland Browns the last game of the year, but they've got to get by these Saints. They look terrible today.
Wide receiver to each side, first down to the 28. Back to pass, Manning. Manning throws for the sideline, completes it to Bob Newland, his wide receiver, and he's out of bounds on the 34. Gain of about 5, maybe a little more. Covered by Mike Taylor, the linebacker. Looks like they're going to spot the ball on the right near the 35. Gain of about 7 it will be then. Second down, 3. Archie Manning has hit 13 out of 18 for 145 yards today.
And the Jets haven't gotten to him one time. To this point in the season, opposing teams have thrown Manning 35 times.
Here's a slot to the left for New Orleans. John Didion over the ball. Manning calls it. Manning gives off to Strong, and Strong bangs into the middle, out to the 38. Tackled by Lomas and Taylor. And if he doesn't have the first down, he will be very close to it. The officials take a look and decide they better bring in the change to check this one. 1 week from tomorrow, Monday, December 11th, the Jets will collide with the Oakland Raiders in California. Listen in Monday night, December 11th at 8:35 for Don Crickey and Sam DeLuca and their pregame shows. And Sam and I will have the play-by-play for you. Short by 2 inches. So now the New Orleans Saints will bring in an additional tight end and send the wide receivers to the sideline. Third down, inches to go for the first down. Bob Gresham and Jim Strong are the running backs. We're down to 5:09 to play here in the third quarter. The Saints lead the Jets by a score of 10-9. Bob Howfield has kicked field goals of 30, 39, and 31 yards for New York. The ends are in tight. Gresham and Strong are split by 5 yards as Manning calls the play. Archie on a quarterback sneak dives straight ahead to the 40 for the first down. Piled up at the middle of the Jet line by John Little, by Mark Lomas, by middle linebacker Al Atkinson. Now Dan Abramowitz and Bob Newland. The wide receivers return to the lineup. Craig Robertson comes in to perform as a tight end. He's actually a tackle, but they use him on the outside on the short yardage blocking situation. First down on the 40-yard line of the Saints. Abramowitz goes out to the left side. Coming to the right is Bob Newland. J.D. Roberts stays with Bob Gresham and Jim Strong as his running backs. Somebody moved for New Orleans. Del Williams, and flags go down all over the place. And the Jets came firing across the line. Del Williams, the 6-year man from Florida State, offside of the play. That'll cost the Saints 5. Move the ball back to the 35, and it'll be 1st and 15 for New Orleans. Minnesota leads Chicago 3-0 in the first period, and Green Bay is ahead of Detroit 6-0 in the first period.
Williams is playing over John Little, Merle, and of course he wants to set up just as quickly as he can. That was a drop-back pass where the quarterback just drops back and sets up 7 yards and throws the football. With a quick guy like Little playing right up on top of you, you want to set up just as quickly as possible. That was the reason that Williams went offside.
Butler now in as Manning goes back to throw, and he throws for Butler coming out of the backfield of the 38. He's at the 40, 45, midfield, and a flag goes down as he crosses the midfield stripe, and a second flag goes down at the 49-yard line in New York territory where Al Atkinson made the tackle. Well, we have 2 flags. 3 flags. Wise was yelling at one of the officials. New Orleans is starting to walk the other way. Clipping against the Saints. And a personal foul against the Jets, offsetting penalties, will kill the play, and they'll do it over.
Well, the Saints had only one penalty in the first half for 5 yards, but of course they've had several key penalties here in the second half. That pushing off by Abramowitz has hurt them. They had 2 pass interference calls, and this penalty hurt the Saints once again.
Jim Strong comes back in, and Bill Butler goes out of the New Orleans backfield. Head coach Weeb Eubank pacing the sidelines across the way, hoping that his team can get rolling here. Bobby Howfield has scored all of the points with 9. New Orleans on top by 1 now. 10-9, 4:11 to go in the third quarter. Newland goes wide left. Abramowitz comes wide to the right. Early Thomas taking Abramowitz head-to-head of the line of scrimmage. Archie Manning calls it first down and 15 on the 35 of New Orleans. Good rush for the Jets. Manning to throw. Arches a ball high downfield for Parks. Incomplete. Bill Wise downfield covering on the 35-yard line. Dave Parks, the tight end. You know, I've been watching Manning as we look now for a second down and 15 on the 35. Sam, it looks like sometimes he sidearms that ball even. He sidearms it from the shoulder. Just lofts it up there, and he can drill it. I remember him as a collegiate. He could really drill the ball, but somewhere along the line he's learned to arch that ball up and give the big guys, a chance to get out and at least battle a defensive back spot.
That one was arched perfectly. I thought Dave Parks was trying to mislead the defender, Phil Wise. He had plenty of time to run under the football, but very wisely he slowed up so that he wouldn't get there and then have to wait, hoping to deceive Phil Wise. But when Wise saw him slow up along the sideline, he looked for the football, and he was aware of where it was at all times.
Manning back to throw on 2nd and 15. Throws to the near side, incomplete. Threw the ball well behind Bob Newland, the intended receiver. And Steve Tannen went flying through the air at the midfield stripe, trying to make an interception.
Yeah, talk about the deep backs, the cornerbacks not looking into the backfield, not looking at the quarterback. That was an instance where certainly Tannen had to be looking at Manning, because there was a mix-up between Manning and the receiver. It should have been a sideline pattern. At least Manning thought it was. He threw the ball toward the sideline as the receiver made his break. The receiver then continued downfield on a go or fly pattern along the sideline. Tannen evidently was looking at Manning because he made the break toward the sideline trying to intercept the pass. Couldn't quite reach it.
3rd down, 15 on the New Orleans 35. The Saints lead it by a score of 10-9. The backs are Gresham and Butler. And a slot to the right for New Orleans. Manning back to throw on 3rd and 15. The rush is on. Manning throwing back over the middle, incomplete. He saw Gresham on the ground. Gresham was trying to get up at the 42-yard line, but he just could not recover, and New Orleans has an injury, and it might be Diddy in the center. Now we have a 4th down and 15 on the 35, and we'll pause briefly for station identification. Your dial is Jet Set.
And this is Stereo 106 WTRY FM in Albany, New York. It's 3 o'clock.
Merle Harmon with Sam DeLuca at the Big Shea in New York, where the Saints lead the Jets 10-9 with 3:56 to go in the third quarter. Didion had his bell rung, but he's holding in there. He'll snap the ball for the punt for Fearless Fagan, Julian Fagan, out of the University of Mississippi. Back deep for New York, Chris Parasopolis and Rocky Turner. High snap, Jets go for a block, hit the kicker, and the ball coming downfield in the 35, bouncing on the 30, down to the 25, to the 22. Fagan got it out of there. I don't know how, because Ebersol and Wise were coming, but they're going to get hit with a roughing the kicker penalty. A 43-yard kick by Fagan, and I don't really know how he got it away from those 2 guys who were charging, and it looked like for sure they're going to have a block punt.
Yeah, it did. He hit Ebersol with his foot. That's the only contact that was made. As he followed through, his foot went up and hit John Ebersol, and hence the penalty. Well, I don't know. This is sloppy game, whatever you want to call it. But on that last play, the last play from scrimmage, I think it was a screen over the middle. You can tell sometimes because the Jets had such good pressure on the quarterback, and I think that they got back there too quickly. The Saints' offensive line did not set it up well, and hence there were people all over the receiver who was intending to receive that screen pass over the middle.
Manning back to throw on 1st and 10, hits Parks near the midfield stripe, and he gets down to the 49-yard line of New York for a first down. Tackled by Early Thomas. The roughing the kicker penalty was not a flagrant violation, and so a 5-yard penalty was walked off, but an automatic first down also goes with that call. And that's what Manning had, a first down and 10 on his own 40, and he just threw across the midfield stripe to Parks. Another first down, the ball just barely in Jet territory. Dan Abramowitz going wide to the left. To the right side is Bob Newland. The tight end is Parks. He's set on the left side. The running backs are split wide. Manning to throw to the near side, and does to Newland, who goes down to the ground to catch the ball on the 44, and he is covered immediately by Ralph Baker and by Chris Farasopoulos. New Orleans 10, the Jets 9. 2 minutes, 48 seconds remain in the third period. Bobby Halfield opened the scoring for the Jets with a 30-yard field goal to put New York in front 3-0 back in the first period. Then Feller kicked a 30-yard field goal to tie it. It was 3-3 at the end of the first period. Then the Saints marched 78 yards on 14 plays with Bob Gresham crashing over from the 3 to go ahead 10-3. Then Halfield booted a 39-yard field goal in the last play of the first half to make it 10-6 at halftime, and now has kicked a field goal to make it 10-9 here in the third quarter. Manning, a quarterback keeper at the 40. Manning down to the 36 and a first down. Chris Farasopoulos on the tackle for New York.
Yeah, the Jets aren't playing that well. Once again, that was the quarterback option. He moves along the line of scrimmage, a play we've seen so often in the college ranks, and has the option of either keeping the football or pitching it back to one of his halfbacks trailing him. It depends on how the corner linebacker or the defensive end plays it. The Jets just aren't playing it well. Evidently, they weren't expecting it from the Saints, and that defensive end doesn't know what to do.
At the 36 in Jet territory, Manning sends Newland to the right, Abramowitz to the left. Here is Manning to throw, keeps the ball, and is hit at the line of scrimmage. Mark Loomis right in on him along with John Little to make the tackle. Manning took a look. He must have either saw that his receivers were well covered or he thought he saw a little hole right up the middle. But Loomis recovered quickly if that happened to be the case, and he brought him down on the 36 at the line of scrimmage, 2nd and 10.
There was a quick sideline pass route that was called, and Steve Tannen was right on top of the receiver, Merle. He had help deep. Farasopoulos was covering the area deep, so Tannen could afford to play right on top of the receiver. When he saw that he was covered, Manning wisely decided to keep the football.
Newland to the right, covered by Tannen. Abramowitz to the left, covered by Early Thomas. Manning calls a play, 2nd and 10. Manning backpedaling to throw. Manning looking, throwing back up the middle. A good catch by Newland. Inside the 20. Leaped high in the air, pulls it down to the 18, and is tackled by Steve Tannen. And Newland really took a jarring tackle from Tannen as his headgear popped halfway off. But it's a first down near the 18-yard line. A gain of 18 yards, first down New Orleans.
Yeah. Years ago, when teams would play rather uncomplicated defenses in pro football, man-to-man defense, you could always tell who was at fault. And in that last instance, immediately I would have said that it was Steve Tannen. But again, Chris Farasopoulos was free in the area, guarding deep over the middle, and he didn't react to the football. He sort of took a fake from somewhere, I don't know from whom, and started to drop back instead of to come up and help Tannen.
Manning dropping back and throwing to Butler, coming out of the backfield of the 20. He gets down to the 15, is brought down by Early Thomas as a gun sounds to end the third quarter. And the score, the New Orleans Saints 10, the New York Jets 9. Fourth quarter coming on, and a second down coming up for New Orleans. The ball is down on the Jet 14-yard line, 2nd and 6. The Saints lead it 10-9 as we go into the final quarter. Abramowitz moving wide to the left. Bob Newland going to the right. New Orleans in the eye with Manning at quarterback, and he hands off to Gresham. Gresham brought down by Baker. Flags go down all over the place as the tackle is made by Baker on the 13-yard line, and 3 flags were thrown and a face mask call against the Jets.
Well, the Saints will vary their alignment in the backfield. They ran from the I formation, as you indicated on that last play. A number of advantages to that. It not only allows a team to run its plays from the best possible angle, but also prevents the defense from guessing or reading what is coming up, because the backs don't have to cheat. You'll frequently see people move out if they're going to get a quick pitch, whereas by changing their alignment on every play, they can line up in the most advantageous position to run the play called in the huddle without fear of tipping the upcoming play to the defense.
A 5-yard penalty. That's a judgment call. It can be 5 or 15, but not a flagrant violation by Baker. But he did snap or grab the face mask, cost him 5. First and goal now from the 9, and the handoff goes to Gresham. Gresham is brought down by Ebersol, and he gets down to about the 8. Bob Gresham, a second-year man from West Virginia. Not a big back. He's 5'11", 195. But basically, he's been the workhorse today. He's carried 11 times for 56 yards, leads the rushers. Manning, by the way, is at 17 out of 25 passes for 183 yards. And the leading receiver has been Bob Newland. Newland coming to the left and Abramowitz going to the right. The tight end, Dave Parks, moves out to the right side. Now Newland comes in closer, split by 4 yards on the left. Calling the play, Archie Manning, second and goal from the 8. Manning fakes a draw, drops back to pass, loops one for the end zone, and he has his receiver wide open. And that is Bill Butler, the running back. He was down to the end zone in the corner, and he went in unmolested. Bill Butler, the rookie from Kansas State, who has alternated with Strong as the fullback, puts New Orleans in front by a score of 16-9. So Manning throws for a touchdown. Here is Feller for the extra point try. The kick is up. It is good. With 14:04 left to play in the ball game, there's a timeout on the field, and the score now: the New Orleans Saints 17, the New York Jets 9. Happy Feller will kick off for New Orleans. The Saints now lead 17-9. Bjorklund and Farasopoulos are deep for the Jets, and here comes Happy Feller. And downfield comes the football. This time it'll go to Bjorklund, who fields the ball on the run on the 8, goes to the 15, up to the 20, makes a cut to the outside, and is wrestled down at about the 28-yard line. Tackled by Vivian Lee. Hank Bjorklund, the rookie, on the return to the 28. And the Jets have themselves a first down. And Sam, this is only the second time the Jets have had the ball in this half. They had it for one series in the third quarter. In this half, they had it for one series in the third quarter.
New Orleans had the ball for I don't know how many minutes, but they ran off 14 plays and driving 72 yards for that last touchdown.
Eddie Bell going to the left, Don Maynard wide to the right. McLean and Riggins are the setbacks. Namath at quarterback with 13:34 left in the game. Joe takes the snap, goes back to pass on first down, throws to the sideline to Maynard. He was out of bounds on the 39 for a first down and stops the clock. Coverage by Russell, but a first down on an 11-yard pickup. Maynard has now caught 3 passes for 45 yards. First down to the 39-yard line of New York. Namath has thrown for 177 yards, completing 13 out of 23. Bell to the left side, Maynard out to the right. John Schmidt over the ball. Joe Willie barks the play. Namath goes back to pass, backpedaling, looking, throwing the Bell to the far side. Has it on the 45-yard line of New Orleans. They mark it on the 46 where he goes out of bounds, and Vivian Lee gets him out of there, and another first down now for New York, as Namath on 2 plays has marched the Jets 26 yards down to the 46-yard line of New Orleans. And he has used very little time because the clock was stopped both times when the receivers went out of bounds. The Jets come up to the line of scrimmage. The guards are Rasmussen and Harmon. The tackles are Swias and Hill. Castor, the tight end, is set on the right side. Maynard to the right, Bell to the left. McLean and Riggins go set. Back to pass Namath on first down. Namath throwing again to Maynard. Has the ball out of bounds on the 36-yard line. Another first down. Billy Hayes was the defender in the area. Might have been a little premature. He might have gone out just inside the chain, and apparently he did. It'll be second down and just an inch or so to go. But the clock is stopped with 13 minutes and 18 seconds left to play in the ball game. New Orleans leading 17-9. Just an inch or so to go for a first down now and a second down call. Maynard comes out to the right. Eddie Bell going wide to the left. The running backs are in close. The Jets go set. Namath hands off to McLean. He's got the first down, hurtling over the middle, down to the 32, where he is brought down by Tom Roussel and Tom Myers. And it's a first down for New York on the 32-yard line of New Orleans, with the Saints on top, 17-9. Coach J.D. Roberts continuing to alternate on the right side of that defensive line. Now brings in Joe Owens for Dave Long. Maynard to the right. Bell goes out to the left. New Orleans 17 and New York 9 here in the fourth quarter. Namath backpedaling to throw. Namath throwing for Castor. Has him at about the 22, and he is out of bounds on about the 19-yard line. Tom Myers making the tackle, and Castor just let him right on his back. First down, New York, at about the 19 of New Orleans.
Well, this is what the fans and the press have been clamoring for all week. They say it's the thing that Joe Namath hasn't been doing in other games. He hasn't been opening it up where he just drops back and throws that football, puts it into the air. And to this point, it looks as if perhaps Namath should have been doing more passing.
Well, he has worked the sidelines actually has worked the sidelines exclusively in this drive. Bell to the left, Maynard to the right. The running backs are split wide. Namath is back to pass on first down, pumps once, throws for the end zone for Maynard, battle on for the ball, and do we have a reception or an interception? We have an interception. Intercepted by Tom Myers, as again, the battle for the ball is won by New Orleans, and that's the second time in this game that a receiver has had the ball taken away in the battle for the ball, and New Orleans has it on the 20. New Orleans leads 17-9. The Saints have now picked off two Namath passes and have the ball on the 20-yard line, with Manning at quarterback calling the play, and Manning gives off to Gresham. Gresham behind blocking is going to be hit on the 21. Good coverage over there by the Jets. Joey Jackson made the tackle. Pulling on the play was Glenn Ray Hines and Del Williams. But Jackson got in there to make the stop, and the ball is placed down on the 22, making it a 2-yard gain, 2nd and 8, with about 12 minutes left to play now in the game. New Orleans on top, 17-9. Namath zipped the Jets down into New Orleans territory in about 2 minutes. He got them down there in a hurry.
That last pass was on target also, Merle. That's the ever-present danger of throwing that bomb against the zone. Someone else had come over to cover the receiver along with the cornerback.
Manning back to pass on 2nd and 8. He throws. It's incomplete, intended for running back Jim Strong. Coverage by Al Atkinson, the middle linebacker. Now it's 3rd down 8. A lot of time left in this game for the Jets, but they have not been able to get into the end zone today. Bobby Howfield's 3 field goals have accounted for the Jets scoring. Bobby, of course, every time he puts a point on the board now, he has established a new personal high in his pro football career. Parks is coming out, split 4 yards to the left as the tight end. Wide to the right, Abramowitz. In the slot to the right now is Bob Newland for New Orleans. The running backs are split wide. Manning back to throw, has time, throws, rifling one, and a flag goes down on the play as the ball was caught and then dropped by Abramowitz. See what the flag's about. And we have a holding penalty against New Orleans. So Abramowitz caught that ball, but of course it will not count, and New Orleans now, if the Jets go for the penalty, let's see, they had a 3rd down, and the ball goes back to the 11. It'll be 3rd down.
Penalty is against the Saints.
And 19, 3rd and 19 on the 11-yard line. Bill Wise is out. Gus Holloman is in for New York on the defensive unit. Newland comes to the left. Abramowitz goes wide to the right. Parks, the tight end, is split by 4 yards to the right. Archie Manning at quarterback goes back to throw from the 2, and he is throwing long for Abramowitz, and he overshoots him on the 40-yard line. Now it's 4th down and 19. Early Thomas and Gus Holloman were on the coverage. And now Julian Fagan will be kicking from almost under the goalpost.
The Saints have the youngest team in the National Football Conference, and that's the way they've been playing in the second half. They've made mistakes, something they didn't do in the first half and they didn't do last week against the Los Angeles Rams. But in this second half, they've come up with the big mistakes, primarily penalties, which have hurt them severely.
Fagan dropping back into the end zone. He'll put the ball in the air from just about the goal line. Verisopoulos is deep for New York with Rocky Turner. Verisopoulos on the 45. Fagan gets it in the air, drives it downfield. Verisopoulos and Turner. Turner on the 47 is dumped on the 46 of New Orleans. So the Jets take over on the Saint 46. The Saints lead at 17-9 with 11:56 left in the ball game. A 36-yard boot by Julian Fagan. We resume play here in the fourth quarter on the 46-yard line of New Orleans. Joe Namath has the Jets set, and here we go. And flags will go as a handoff goes to McLean. McLean comes into the middle down to the 44. A couple of white shirts were on the move, but now the question is, did the green shirts pull them off? Rousseau made the tackle. And McLean is not getting up very quickly. He was slipping as he tried to make a cut. Hank Bajorkland is coming into the backfield to replace Cliff McLean. Offside is indicated against New Orleans, and the 5-yard penalty takes the ball to the 41, where it is 1st and 5 for New York. Time remaining, 11 minutes, 11 seconds. The Saints 17 and the Jets 9. The Jets need 2 scores.
Pittsburgh is now leading Cleveland 17-0 in the third quarter. And of course, that represents the Jets' greatest challenge for that wild card slot, but the way they've been playing today.
Here's Namath throwing to Bell, makes the catch in the 35. Bell spinning, cutting down the sideline to the 30, is out of bounds now on the 29. Eddie Bell gets himself a first down to the 29-yard line. Hugo Holas made the stop. A gain of 12 and a first down for New York on the 29 of New Orleans, and the clock shows 11:02 to play. So the Jets still have plenty of time. They have not been able to get into the end zone today. Bobby Howfield has done the scoring with 3 field goals of 30, 39, and 31 yards. Maynard right, Bell to the left. Here's Namath on a handoff to Riggins. Riggins, no hole in the middle, makes a couple of yards anyway. Broke a tackle by Bob Pollard, and then was stopped by Joe Owens. So Riggins gets 2. 2nd down, 8.
And that's the thing the Saints have been able to do, stop the Jets' running attack, something that Detroit couldn't do last week, well, last Thanksgiving Day, or something the Miami Dolphins didn't do that well. But the Saints, with a weak defensive club, have pretty much bottled up the Jets' running attack.
Maynard to the right, Bell to the left. Namath the quarterback, 2nd and 8. Riggins and Bajorkland to the setbacks. Namath is back to pass. He throws to Maynard. Good catch on the 16-yard line. Covered by Russell and by Hayes. A gain of 11. First down. The ball just outside the 15-yard line. Now marked on the 16. First down, New York. By the way, John Riggins is now 1 yard away from Matt Snell's all-time rushing mark for the Jets. Wide to the left goes Bell. To the right is Maynard. First down, 16-yard line of New Orleans. But Bjorklund and Riggins are in close. Namath is back to pass. He pumps once. Now he throws for the end zone. He's throwing the ball away as Maynard was well covered. And Joe threw the ball over the back line. It'll be 2nd and 10 of the 16. Our rushing on Riggins is unofficial, but if we are correct in ours, we have him 24 yards for this game. He needed 25 to establish the new mark, so he would be tied with Matt Snell now. Jerome Barkham is in for Don Maynard as a wide receiver.
Yeah. Namath seemed to be looking at Don Maynard or for Don Maynard much more today than he had been in previous games. Hadn't thrown to him much this year at all.
Don has caught 5 for 66 this afternoon. Bell to the left side, Barkham to the right. Castor, the tight end, is set left. The Jets go set. Namath fakes to Bjorklund, drops back to throw. Namath throwing, has incomplete. He was throwing for Castor on the 10. Led him a little too much. Roussel was covering on the 10-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 10 on the 16 of the Saints. Maynard comes back in. And let's see. Barkham will go out.
Did he get one hand on that? It looked as if something distracted him. I didn't think the ball was overthrown that much.
I don't know if Roussel bumped him or what. He was had the coverage, but the fans who were down in that area apparently anticipated a reception. That's one place they have a better shot at it than we do. Wide to the left, Bell. To the right is Maynard. 3rd down, 10 on the 16. Namath back to throw once more. And he throws for Castor, loops the ball out of the end zone. That one just simply got away. Bobby Howfield comes in for his 4th field goal attempt. So the Jets get down to the 16 on a 1st and 10 and are now 4th and 10. And Davis will hold at the 23, it appears. So Howfield from the 23. The Jets trail 17-9. The Jets have not been able to get into the end zone. Howfield has put them all on the board. This time from the 23, the snap, the kick is on the way. It is good. 23-yard field goal by Howfield. And there's a timeout on the field, and the score, the New Orleans Saints 17, the New York Jets 12.
All my men wear English leather, every one of them. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice?
If all your men wear English leather aftershave or cologne, you've got a lot less gift-giving headaches. Give him English leather or Timberline or Windrift or English leather lime, all handsomely gift packaged. Isn't that nice?
English leather, isn't that nice?
In a lot of states, driving on a badly worn tire isn't just dangerous, it's illegal. If the police catch you driving on worn tires, you're in trouble. If the police don't catch you, you may be in even more trouble. You're riding on borrowed time. Tire Industry Safety Council.
It's now a 17-12 ball game as Bobby Howfield, who has kicked field goals of 30, 39, 31, and 23 yards, is ready to kick off.
It's just hard to believe that the Jets have only 61 yards rushing against the lowly Saints, and last week, of course, against the Detroit Lions, Cliff McLean had 121 and John Riggins 105. And of course, Al Tell for the Lions at 123. Only one other time in the history of pro football, November 6, 1955, did two teams come up with 3 guys who had over 100 yards rushing.
Howfield's kickoff goes all the way out of the end zone. Margene Atkins, who is back deep, lets it go. The report from the sideline is that Cliff McLean has bruised ribs, probably will not be back this afternoon. We'll pause briefly for station identification on the Jet Set Network.
At 3:30, this is Stereo 106, WTRY FM, Albany, New York. The big sport in town.
Merle, Harmon, and Sam DeLuca at the big Shea, and the crowd starting to call for defense. The Jets trail by 5. Abramowitz is wide to the left. Newland is in the slot to the left. Manning is a quarterback. He's done a good job today for New Orleans. Here is Manning on a handoff. Gives off to Strong, and Strong bangs into the middle out across the 25, almost to the 28, where Al Atkinson makes the tackle. An 8-yard pickup by Jim Strong. And it'll be 2nd and 2.
And once again, the pressure is on the Jets defense. What they can't afford now is another 14-play touchdown drive as the Saints came up with previously.
Newland wide to the left, Abramowitz going to the right. Running backs are split. Manning at quarterback calls the play. Manning rolling right, keeping the ball, and is hit on the 30, but I believe he has the first down. Ralph Baker makes the tackle with John Little. Clock running, showing 8:25 remaining in the game, and the Sticks move ahead. A first down for New Orleans. The Saints lead it 17-12. The Jets led in the first quarter 3-0. But after New Orleans tied the game in the first period, they took the lead in the second quarter on a 3-yard touchdown run by Bob Gresham and have not been behind since. Jim Strong comes out. Bill Butler is coming in the backfield. It'll be Butler and Gresham at the 30-yard line. First down, New Orleans. Slot to the left for the Saints. Manning takes a snap, fakes, drops back to throw, looks for the intercepted by Early Thomas on the 35, down to the 30, down to the 25, down to the 22-yard line. There's one that Manning looped into the air, floated the ball up there, and the ball didn't go anyplace. But you know, Sam, when a quarterback does float that ball, and Manning has done it very successfully today, you always kind of feel that somebody is going to pick it off. Well, this time, Early Thomas did.
He was rushed, Merle. You can credit John Elliott. John Elliott replaced Mark Lomas for the first time today on that last play. He had a good rush on Manning to the outside. Manning just had to throw over Elliott, and he threw partially blind.
Oh, listen to this crowd, will you? The worm has turned. Going to the right, Don Maynard. Going to the left, Eddie Bell. Now let's see if the Jets can capitalize on that interception by Early Thomas. He returned it 13 yards. A handoff to Riggins. Flag on the play, no hole. Riggins hit back on the 25 by Dave Long.
Nobody blocked him. Nobody blocked that defensive player.
And the penalty is indicated against New York. The Jets hit with an illegal procedure call, and the Jets have an injury, and Dave Harmon was shaken up on the play. So Harmon down on his knees at the 20-yard line. Roger Finney is coming in. He'll be replacing Dave Harmon, who's being helped from the sideline, but now is going off under his own power, jogging off the field. The Saints turn down the penalty. They'll take the loss back to the 26, where it'll be second down and 14 for New York.
That was like a tackling drill for Bob Long of the Saints. The Dave Long, that is, the right defensive end. He was just standing there, and John Riggins just ran right into him. Nobody blocked Long at all.
Well, the loss puts Riggins back to 20 yards, and Matt Snell still leads all Jet rushers for a single season. To the right, Maynard. To the left, Barkham. Back to pass goes Namath. Namath throwing. It is caught by Riggins, but he gets very little yardage at about the 25. Joe Fennersfield made the tackle. Neal threw his arms up in the air and tried to block that ball. The ball is put on the 26, so there's no gain. Third down and 14.
Yeah, I think the Jets have got to score. On general principle, I don't think I'd go for another field goal. Not only does the score not warrant it, but just, 4 field goals, 5 field goals. They've got to get on the scoreboard with a touchdown.
Saints lead 17-12. Wide receivers to each side. Bell to the left, Maynard to the right. Namath, third down, 14, back to pass, dropping way back, throwing over the middle, and it is almost intercepted. It was intended for Bjorklund, but the play was broken up by Wayne Coleman, the linebacker. It almost had an interception, and Namath is down on the 40-yard line.
He's holding his butt. He's holding his rear.
Dr. James Nicholas out there to have a look. Fourth down call coming up. Fourth down and 14 on the 26-yard line of the Saints. Bob Davis has come on the field. We have 6 minutes and 22 seconds left in the game. The Saints lead it 17-12. Namath was once again hit as he let that ball go. Got the pass away, intended for Bjorklund, back over the middle. Down around the inside the 15-yard line.
Hard to tell, Merle, but I think he just sat down too hard and landed on his tailbone, the coccyx, and I think that's the problem because that's the area of his body that he grabbed immediately. They're not working on his knees.
Bobby Howfield and Bob Davis are on the field on a fourth down and 14, and Namath is up. Joe is walking off the field under his own power, not being attended now, so apparently he is all right. This time, Howfield will be going from the 33. If he makes it, it'll be his 5th in 5 attempts today. Davis holding at the 33-yard line. Waiting the snap. Here it is. The ball is down. The kick is on the way. The distance is all right. It's good. 33-yard field goal by Bobby Halfield. He is 5 for 5 this afternoon. 6 minutes, 18 seconds remain in the game, and the Jets now trail by 2. As New Orleans is on top by a score of 17 to 15, and Halfield is ready to kick off. He's had quite a day, Sam.
Unfortunately for the Jets, the very fact that he's had to kick so often, of course he has had a fine day, but they've got to get on the scoreboard with a touchdown. New York Jets yearbook is still available. It contains pictures and stories about all your favorite Jet players. To get your copy, send a check or money order for $1.25 to Jets Yearbook, 595 Madison Avenue, New York, New York. That's $1.25. Check or money order to Jets Yearbook, 595 Madison Avenue, New York, New York, 10022.
Here's Halfield's kickoff. Margene Atkins is deep. That ball way back into the end zone. Atkins downs into the end zone. New Orleans will take the ball on the 20 on the touchback. Bobby Halfield now has 104 points, and we believe that he leads all scorers in the NFL now. We say we believe because Ray Jarrella, I think, has 5 points at Pittsburgh. He had a field goal and I think 2 extra points. But right now, the important points are those 2 that separate the Saints and the Jets. From the 20, the Saints will put the ball in play. The running backs are Gresham and Strong. They come out in an I. Manning sets up a slot to the left. Manning goes to a handoff to Gresham. Gresham bangs out to the 22 and is stopped by Joey Jackson. Al Atkinson assisting on the tackle. John Elliott also in there. John Elliott now at right tackle. 2nd down and 8 at the 22-yard line. Clock running, 5 minutes, 50 seconds remaining in the game. Out of the huddle come the Saints. Up over the ball goes John Didion. The tight end is Parks. He's set right. In the slot to the left, Newland with Abramowitz wide to the left. The running backs are split out wide. Manning dropping straight back to throw, throwing, throws to Gresham on the 20. Gresham is rustled down the 23 by Early Thomas, a fine tackle by Early Thomas. Early is out of Colorado State, and for those of you who follow the rodeo circuit, or rodeo if you will, when it comes to New York, that was a bulldog tackle. Now I don't know if Early was a cowboy in Colorado or not, but he sure acted like one on that tackle. A gain of 1, 3rd and 7.
Yeah, probably the safest form of tackling in the open field like that, where you hit the man high. Of course, with a guy like Early who's not very big, and you got those big running backs, he could run over you, but it is probably the safest form. Head right around the numbers.
A critical 3rd down play coming up for both teams. Manning goes slot to the right. The running back split. Manning is back to pass. Manning in trouble. Is sacked. Is brought down by John Little and by Joey Jackson and Jerry Philbin. It was Little who got him. Jackson came up high to make sure Manning couldn't throw the football. Philbin came banging in then to make sure Archie didn't go anyplace. And he has dropped on the 11-yard line. That's the first time the Jets have sacked him today.
Yeah, they've been getting to the Saints quarterbacks 3 to 4 times a game. And, of course, the Jets hadn't gotten to him all game, but they certainly picked the right moment to get back and sack Archie Manning.
A 10-yard loss, and it's 4th and 18. And Fagan will be punting over on that goal line again. Rocky Turner at the 40-yard line of New Orleans. Chris Barasopoulos at the 45-yard line of the Jets. Fagan standing in the end zone 2 yards deep. 4th down coming up, 4 minutes, 24 seconds remain. New Orleans leads 17 to 15. The kick away by Fagan. High it goes. Fair catch by Barasopoulos. Takes the ball on the 47-yard line of New Orleans. And here comes the offensive unit back onto the field, and Joe Namath is right with them. A 36-yard kick by Fagan puts the ball to the 47 of New Orleans. The Jets trail 17-15. 5 field goals by Bob Halfield today have accounted for the Jets scoring. Eddie Bell going to the left, Don Maynard going to the right. Pittsburgh still holding a 17-0 lead over Cleveland in the third. Namath back to pass on first down. Namath throws to the sideline to Maynard, incomplete on the 30. Billy Hayes covering in the area. Second down, 10 on the 47 of the Saints. And the crowd quiets down for a moment. Nobody leaving Shea Stadium. Another crowd of 62,000 plus looking on. Scores of other games now. Atlanta leads Houston 13-3 in the third. Green Bay 9, Detroit nothing in the first. Washington 13, Philadelphia 7, 3/4. Maynard to the right, Bell to the left. Castor to tight end to set left. Here's Namath backpedaling to throw. Throws to Riggins out of the backfield at midfield down to the 45. Is whacked down at about the 41-yard line of the Saints and out of bounds. Fettersfield, the middle linebacker, made the stop of the play at the 41-yard line.
Merle, he stopped almost every one of those swing or flare passes today. Good middle linebacker, good range. You watch him run, and it doesn't appear that he's running that fast, but he's got good speed because he's been out there with Riggins or McLean every time Namath has attempted to throw that flare or swing pass.
Don Maynard is out. Jerome Barkham is in for New York. Barkham comes to the right, Bell goes to the left. 3:16 remaining in the ball game. I thought he was out of bounds, but apparently not because the clock is running. Here's Namath back to pass on 3rd and 4. Swings to Riggins. Can't handle the ball. Threw the ball off the shoulder. And it's 4th down for the Jets. And long. And here comes Howfield. This will be a long one.
It's going to be a tough one. Once again, the flare pass. We indicated that that's tough. It's tough on the running back because he knows he's going to get hit. It's tough on the quarterback because it has to be thrown with pinpoint precision. That time, it was thrown behind Riggins. Well, here it comes, Merle.
From the 48. Howfield has already kicked his longest field goal of the year today of 39 yards. Crowd standing. Here's the snap. The kick is on the way. The distance is all right, and it is not good. It is off to the left. And the Saints hold the lead at 17-15 with 3 minutes and 2 seconds remaining in the game. So Howfield is 5 out of 6 today. A 48-yard attempt wide to the left. He really drilled that ball. He had plenty on it. But it sailed to the left side.
This game has been a kicker's dream. That's something a kicker could wait for all his career, you know, to have an opportunity to kick 6 field goals and win the game. But that last one was a tough one.
Now Manning brings the Saints up to the line of scrimmage from the 20. Slot to the left for New Orleans. Here's Manning and a handoff to Butler. Butler swings to the left side, crashes his way to the 30 and goes to the 32 for a first down. Early Thomas on the tackle for New York. 2 minutes, 50 seconds remaining in the game now. So a first down, New Orleans on the Saint 32. New Orleans leading 17-15. The Jets have led but one time in this game. With 9:59 to play in the first quarter, Howfield kicked a field goal. And the score was tied with 42 seconds left in the first quarter. Then the Saints went into the lead in the second period and have led ever since. Slot to the right, the handoff goes to Butler. Into the middle he comes to the 35 and is dumped down. Make that Gresham into the middle. Taylor and Atkinson stop the play. It was Gresham this time to the 35, and it'll be second down and 7 on a gain of 3. 2 minutes remaining in the ball game, and there's the timeout for the 2-minute warning. Timeout on the field to score. The Saints 17, the Jets 15.
Now a message from the Falstaff Brewing Corporation, St. Louis, Missouri. You know, you hear a lot about the part momentum plays in football, how this team's got it and that one hasn't, or this team's gained it and that one's lost it. But you know something? Momentum also plays a part when it comes to beers. That's right. There's such a thing as a beer that's got momentum. And to tell you the truth, I'm looking at one right now. Yes, sir, today's Great Valentine. The beer that seems to be capturing more and more folks' fancy every day. Mostly, I figure, because Valentine's really got what it takes when it comes to giving real beer refreshment, glass after glass, quarter after quarter. It's no wonder, then, why so many people are rediscovering Valentine these days, ordering up the beer that boasts the famous 3 rings on the label. because that's the sign of today's great Valentine, the best tasting Valentine ever. So the next time you visit your favorite tavern, order up an ice cold Valentine.
Hey, Jim! The New Orleans Saints hold a 17-15 lead over the Jets. 2 minutes to play in this game. Butler has come out. Jim Strong is back in as a running back for New Orleans. He'll be in there with Bob Gresham. Second down call, 7 yards to go for New Orleans. The Saints, who last week beat Los Angeles 19-16. Going for the upset over the Jets. Here is a handoff. And the ball is taken by Strong. He is hit at the line of scrimmage by Ralph Baker and Al Atkinson. Now the Jets have taken a timeout to stop the clock. We have 1:50 seconds remaining. It'll be 3rd down and 7. Hardly any gain at all in the last play. Butler comes in, and Jim Strong comes out for New Orleans. The Saints beat San Francisco, or rather tied San Francisco 20-all this year, beat the Eagles 21-3, and the Rams 19-16. They lead by 2 in this one at 17-15 with 1:50 seconds left in the ball game. Sunday, December 17th will be Toys for Tots Day at Shea Stadium. Marine Corpsmen will be stationed at the entrances of Shea Stadium to collect your gifts. Make a needy child's Christmas a happier one by bringing a toy or gift to the Big Shea on Sunday, December 17th. Toys for Tots. All right, New Orleans, 3rd down, 7. Steve Tannen and Ralph Baker have been to the sideline to talk with the defensive coaches. That front four for the Jets, from left to right, Philbin, Little, Elliott, and Jackson. Here's a slot left. 3rd down call. Manning barking signals now for New Orleans. Manning takes a snap, backpedals to throw, pumps once, throws, and it's caught by Gresham at the 35. They're going to stop him, though. No first down at the 36-yard line. Taylor and Thomas make the tackle. And it's 4th down and 7, no gain on the last play. The clock's showing 1:41 seconds. The Jets called a timeout. 1:41 seconds now. If our stats are right here, the Jets have 1 timeout remaining. Rocky Turner goes deep with Verisopoulos. Julian Fagan will be back to kick for New Orleans. Denver leading Kansas City 14-10 in the second period. Pittsburgh over Cleveland 17-0. The last score we had was 3rd quarter. Fagan will boot from around his own 25. Here's the snap, and he'll get it away, and he does. It's a good one. Hangs it up high. Verisopoulos takes it on the 16. Verisopoulos is tackled on the 15. Tom Myers downfield in the coverage. A 48-yard kick by Fagan. That's his best kick of the day, and if New Orleans ever needed a good kick, it was right then. The ball now spotted at the 16. Clock shows 1:30 seconds remaining. It'll start going as soon as the ball is set, and it is, and the clock is running. Namath at quarterback is back to pass on 1st down. Namath throwing over the middle to Steve Harkey, and a flag is on the play, and pass interference will be called against Doug Wyatt. Pass interference against New Orleans. That'll give the Jets the ball at the 26, I believe, where they'll mark it. It'll also stop the clock with 1:22 seconds left. The ball is marked on the 27, where the interference took place. 1st down, New York. 1:22 seconds remaining in the game. The Jets have 1 timeout remaining. Namath worked the sideline beautifully in a drive earlier that netted the Jets a field goal. Wide receivers to each side. Maynard right, Bell to the left. Namath back to pass. Rush on by New Orleans. He throws, and it's incomplete. Oh, another flag is thrown. Absolutely. Hayes interfering with Maynard. You know, that was a strange thing. The official, the closest to the play, did not throw the flag. But the deep official did, and I am sure that was a good call. because Maynard was going to make the reception. Actually, it was a good play on the part of Hayes, really, because Maynard had it cold turkey at the 48. So interference call, 2 in a row now. Jets first down to their own 48-yard line. Bell goes out of the game. Barkham is in, along with Don Maynard. A minute 18 remaining. And the Saints lead the Jets 17-15. Barkham going wide to the left and Don Maynard going wide to the right. Namath up under John Schmidt calling the play. Most of the crowd standing now. Namath calls the play. Namath is back to pass. The rush for the Saints. Joe's in trouble. He's got to throw. He has the ball knocked away, but I believe it's incomplete. Namath had the arm going forward, and it's incomplete. Just as he let that ball go, it was batted away way back to the 20-yard line, but it'll be an incompletion. As long as the arm has gone forward, that's all it takes. And the umpire, Al Conway, indicated, or rather the referee, indicated that indeed the arm had started forward. Pat Haggerty making the call. Al Conway, by the way, is the umpire. Wide to the right goes Maynard. Wide to the left, Bell. 1 minute 12 seconds remaining of the game. 2nd and 10 on the Jet 48. The Jets go set. Namath backing up to throw. Good rush by New Orleans. He's got to get rid of the ball. He's throwing on the run. And he hits Rich Castro on the 40. He's down to the 36-yard line. Clock shows 1 minute 2 seconds remaining, and the Jets call time to stop the clock. 12-yard pickup. Fetterspiel and Wyatt make the tackle. Namath had to leave the pocket. He threw to Barkham on the run, or rather to Castor on the run, I beg your pardon, who made the catch of the 40. He went down to the 36-yard line. And the Jets have used their last timeout, and the clock shows 1 minute and 1 second. Saints lead 17-15. The only scoring the Jets have done today has been on the strong right leg of Bobby Hopfield, who has kicked 5 field goals. He missed from the 48-yard line with about 3 minutes left to play. That would have put the Jets in the lead, but Bobby has not kicked from that distance this year. His longest field goal of the year came from 39 yards, and that happened in the second quarter of the game today. But now the Jets have an opportunity to at least get in closer if they cannot go all the way. The ball at the 36. 1 minute 1 second remaining in the game. New Orleans has led since the second quarter when Gresham scored with 1 minute and 17 seconds remaining in the first half. Out of the huddle come the Jets. Eddie Bell is back in. He's wide to the left. Don Maynard wide to the right. Castor, the tight end, is split 4 yards to the right. Namath calls a play for New York on first down. 37-yard line. The handoff goes to Harkey, who bangs into the middle inside the 35, down to the 34. The tackle made by Bob Pollard, and 53 seconds remain now. The Jets will have time for maybe one, maybe 2 plays yet. Trying to keep that ball up the middle. They come out of the huddle, 40 seconds remaining. Now a new ball brought in. The officials finally stopped the clock with 37 seconds as one of the officials fumbled the ball that was brought in. Now at the 34-yard line the ball is. 2nd down, 7. 34 seconds left in the game. Namath gives off to Bjorklund, who bangs into the middle, and a flag is on the play at the 31 as the play is stopped there. Pollard making the tackle. Let's see what the flag's about. Illegal procedure, New York. A gain of a couple. The clock shows 27 seconds left. Here's a 5-yard penalty against New York. Taking the ball back to the 39, which also puts the ball out of Bobby Howfield's range so far this year. On his 48-yard attempt, he had plenty of distance, but he was wide to the left with it. Barkham had started in, now goes out. Bell wide to the left and Maynard wide to the right. 27 seconds remaining in the game. The Jets go set at the 39 of New Orleans. Namath going back to pass, looks to the right side, throws to the left side. Eddie Bell throws the ball out of bounds. 23 seconds showing on the clock. 3rd down coming up, 13 yards to go. Namath has hit 21 out of 40 for 255 yards. Joe walks to the sideline to talk to Weeb Eubank. Third down, almost 13 yards to go. 23 seconds showing on the clock. The New Orleans bench is up. The fans are up. Everybody's standing now, watching the final seconds of this game. Eddie Bell going to the left side. Don Maynard coming out to the right. Castor splits right in the slot. Namath calls it third down coming. Namath hands off to Harkey. Harkey bangs down to the 35, gets to the 34. Here comes the field goal unit. They'll have to hurry. 17 seconds remaining. 14 seconds, 13 seconds. Davis will hold from the 42. 9 seconds. Now he's holding at the 42. If the ball is snapped in time, 5 seconds, 4 seconds, 5 seconds. Here's the kick. It's on the way. Distance all right. It is good. It is good. Last play of the game, and Halfield wins it. Bobby Halfield. 42-yard field goal on the last play of the game by Halfield. And the Saints are totally dejected as Halfield kicked 6 field goals. And the Jets beat New Orleans 18-17. A wild, wild finish. Bobby Halfield being mobbed and in the field by his team's tape. His 42th of the year, his Jeff Halfield. He ended the field goal. That now is his longest yards. This is his highest yard of the year, his longest distance. And the Jets get one of 42 yards. That now is his longest of the year. And the New Orleans and Stay